Raider Nation, man, what is the deal? What is going on? You are back for another episode here of the Raider Rundown, man. And see, man, we got a very special guest in the building, man. None other than East Coast Gridiron, man. We're here to talk some ball. We're here to get into the draft. We're here to do everything in between, man. So without further ado, man, let's go ahead. Let's get into the stream and let's go ahead. Let's get everything started. Wow. Wow. It immediately goes out. There we go. Hey, 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 you know what's crazy, bro? I talked to my man's right before this. I said, let's hope this don't happen. And this shit happened immediately. But regardless of it, man, hey, appreciate everybody for being on stream. Wouldn't be a rundown show without some of this shit happening. But you already know what time it is, man. We get into the draft. We getting into the Raiders off season. We got a very special guest in the building, man, as I was saying. So let's go ahead. Let's get this shit started, man. Let's get the show cracked. What is the deal, man? What is going on? You are back for another episode here of the Raider Rundown, man. Make sure you guys are tapping on the like button, on the subscribe button. And as you can see, we got a very special guest in the building, man. None other than East Coast Gridiron blessing us with his presence, man. We about to talk some ball, get into some good conversation, man, as we do, man. But my guy, Dante, how you doing today, bro?
Hey man, can't complain. This is Monday for everybody, right? And all this stuff hits the fans at work for all of us. But hey man, we clocked out and we're here, man. So shout out to the chat, shout out to everybody that's joining. It looks like I got my side on it connected too, so you might see some new faces pop in. So make sure you come over to Raider Rundown and subscribe to him as well from my side. And let's talk some football, man.
Hey, man, much love for that as well, man. So, as y'all already heard, man, make sure you guys are tapping on all them buttons, man. Rundown crew, as y'all know, man, show love to the family that always tapping in with us and blessing us with their football knowledge. But before we do any of that, right, we like to go ahead and tap in with the chat real quick. Go ahead and see some of the people that's in here, and as you said, some new faces that you might have on your side as well, man. So I got my guy, Where's the Flag, man, in the building, man. Salute. What's going on, bro? Dominique 5 in the building, man. Salute my guy. What's the deal, bro? 2 cents. What's happening? Oh shit. PTS, protect the shield. That's fam right there, man. What's going on, big bro? What's going on? I think this might be one of yours, man. Might be one of yours. CGR. What's the deal, bro? What's going on with you, man? Got Keely? Is that how you say it?
Khalid, yeah, he's over on our side too. Yeah,
there we go, man. Salute, man. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. As always, hit them thumbs. You already know what it is, bro. Gun Smoke in the building, man. What's going down, bro? Def Pile, what's going on, bro? Yes, sir. Dre for sure. What's the deal? I got all the people up in here, man. Oh, one of yours up in here. Riots in the building, man. What's going on, man? VL forever in the building as well, man. What's going on? Yes, sir, man. So we got all the people up in the chat, man. So make sure you guys tap in with the chat as well, bro. I mean, the conversation don't move without y'all. You already know what time it is, man. We don't get everything going without y'all either, man. We on the road to 3K subscribers for the season start. So make sure you guys keep tapping in, bro. We hoping to get there, man. We are hoping to get there. Yeah. You know, all the work we're gonna put, especially after some of the conversation we're gonna have today. Hopefully we draw some more people in, right? So
yeah, for
sure. You already told me, right? You're not no Raiders fan, but it's cool because sometimes I like to get the perspective of people outside the nation. You know, I call it that the Raider goggles. Sometimes when you look at your own team and shit, sometimes you be looking at certain people and you're like, oh yeah, this dude's all world. And then you go somewhere else and he's third string. So it's like, it's like sometimes the shit don't correlate. So it's like, okay, now we replaced a lot of guys this offseason on our defense, right? And the nation's a little angry. Okay, we made kind of some moves. Trayvon Merrick left, Nate Hobbs left, all these guys left. What's kind of your outside view of how the Raiders have handled the offseason so far, as a whole? Let's just say as a whole.
I honestly think Jeremy Chin was one of the best pickups that any team has done. So let me give credit where credit is due right there.
Okay.
I think, and on our show, we always said, we actually joked last season when Frankie Louvu went to the Redskins or the Commanders, whatever we want to call them now. And Jeremy, Jeremy Chin came to you guys, and it's like, why did the Panthers let both of their otherworldly talents go? Just it could have been so great with him or with both of them, JC Horn and Derek Brown right there in the middle, and they just build on top of that. So it's like, that's the first thing I think of. But I think a lot of people with the Raiders don't understand how big of a pickup that actually is for your team. And a lot of people are thinking about him as like, oh, we got a poor man's Brian Branch. Well, actually, you got Brian Branch before Brian Branch, and people forget how good he actually was these last couple of years and how much of an impact he's going to have. So I think he's really taken the cloth off for that, that Nick Saban type of defense that we've used to see in college and brought that to the NFL. And if anything, Trayvon Merrick was not going to give you exactly what Jeremy Chin was going to give you, right? So I don't like the fact that you guys got rid of Robert Spillane. So you got to
take the one for me. That's the one for me.
I will never understand why. Here's my thing, and this is the reason why I said the Eagles lost the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and why they won this year. It wasn't because of tush push. It wasn't because of anything else. It's because of the defense actually locked in and tackled.
Right.
People don't understand how good tackling is for your defensive scheme. Like, if you don't have a good tackling team, you're not going to win. And what Robert Spillane brought to your team was a great tackling piece for the most part, on a defense that was really questionable throughout the whole season. And let's keep it a buck here. Max Crosby wasn't there all season either. So
Christian Wilkins either, bro. So he's gone.
Jack Jones didn't show up for half the season in some games. So it's
that's a fact. That's a fact.
I'm just looking at it from the outside in. Like, every time that I watched the Raiders play, I was like, dang, Robert Spillane if he wasn't making the tackle, he was in there on the play. So I don't know what the scheme is there, but if anybody knows, it's Pete Carroll and he knows what he wants, and maybe they might switch the whole defense around where Robert Spillane just wasn't a piece for that. And Jeremy Chin can come in, if anything, Jeremy Chin can come in and kind of substitute for what that was. So it's not really sour grapes there, because I kind of see how that could be managed, but it's like losing a good piece is losing a good piece. And it's almost, why I bring up the Panthers with Jeremy Chin and Frankie Louvu is like, it's almost the same situation. You just got rid of a good player for no reason.
Now you got to overpay for no reason. Yeah, all that extra. Luckily, though, the Raiders didn't overpay. And that was the one main theme that I think everybody's taking is like, oh, they went with cheap. But for me, I think you hit on the point, and I've been touching on it since we signed the man. And I'm talking about Jeremy Chin. I don't believe that Trayvon Merrick is a $9 million better player than Jeremy Chin. I don't. I mean, I see the price tag, right? I see the price tag. But as a Raider fan, bro, it's like the goggles come on and we forget where we drafted this man and what we drafted him for. When we drafted Trayvon Merrick, it wasn't to be no box safety like he showed towards the end. We drafted this man to be the high safety, bro, to make plays like he was at TCU. When he was at TCU, bro, he used to make plays on the football.
He was a Jim Thorpe Award winner for a reason, and the fact that you guys had two of them on your team with him and Trey Taylor, which a guy that I actually interviewed before he got down there to you guys, and actually Dylan Lobby too. I seen him interview all the Raiders guys. So
I gotta check that out. I didn't know that. Yeah, shameless plug. Make sure y'all check that out on his channel, bro.
So, I interviewed both of those guys. I believe I interviewed somebody else in the chat can check me. I think I interviewed another Raiders. Carter Bradley. Carter Bradley was there.
See, you got all the three. You got the three, right?
Yeah, there. I'm like, why did I end up getting all the Raiders guys? But yeah, it's a shame that what happened with Trayvon Merrick is what happened. But Panthers overpaid. You guys got a deal of the year with Jeremy Chin, and one of them is going to perform out their contract, and the other one's going to be the guy that they looked at like, why do we pay all this money? So
because he's the top 3 safety paid or top paid 3 safety, whatever it is in the league, right? And it's like,
yeah,
no, I don't see that, right? Like on film or just watching, bro. Like we watch every game, so it's like people be forgetting these things when it comes. Like when football, I feel like when football dies down, we start forgetting how we felt in the fall or like how we felt like during the season. I'm like, nah, Doc, like you got to keep the same feeling. So okay, I get that now. To the linebacker position, we kind of transition because that'll transition us to one of the prospects we're going to talk about a little later, which this is good. For the linebackers, right, we transition Spillane to Elandon Roberts. Now, I like what Elandon Roberts brings as far as the physicality, right, and against the run and how he takes on these blocks. I like that. But
yeah,
Spillane was a tad bit better in coverage than Elandon is, and he played more snaps. So then people are kind of concerned with when Elandon does get the majority of the snaps like Spillane did get, what are we going to get in that fashion? I mean, so replacing Elandon Roberts with Spillane, like how does that move the needle for you, or does it at all?
I would say it like this. Robert Spillane was a B tier linebacker at best, right? And that's not dogging him. It's just
no, it's true.
A tier is Fred Warner, right? You know what I'm saying? The whatchamacallit, Roquan Smiths of the world. Like you're not there. So B tier is great for any team. He's an all team guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Elandon Roberts like a C-, maybe D tier linebacker. Like he's a depth piece to me. Like, and here's what we do in the off season, and this is why like I try to stay as neutral as possible, especially with my teams, because a lot of people think like you absolutely hate the Jaguars or you hate Florida State, and it's just like no, I'm a realist at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So I love football in general, but I'm gonna just be real about it. I'm not gonna fan when things are, just to cope.
Yep.
And I think what has happened, and I look at all the YouTube channels and out there, it's like, oh, this guy's going to be a beast for us. And it's like, well, why wasn't he a beast where he was at previously? You think that he's just going to come and turn the corner? I will say this, though. The only time that really happens is when you get a Clavon Chason, which you guys just let walk for whatever reason. And I don't understand that. I think that
that was the one too. I didn't like that one either a little bit.
Well, look at this, right? Clavon Chason comes to the Jaguars, and we were already a sucky program already, and he had nothing to do. His linebacker coach left the next year after that, and it's just like he was kind of dead in the water for his development. And then you keep drafting Trayvon Walker and all these other guys to replace him. How's Clavon supposed to feel? Like I kind of felt so. I was on another show earlier this season, and I said, I think Clavon Chason is the one that can turn the corner because he's going to be in an environment that is believing in him with the Max Crosby on the other side of him. And guess what happens? 2 games into the season of him being there with the Raiders, he actually was looking like a really good piece for you guys. And I was like, damn, I hit that right on the head. And I think to stray away from the fact that these guys are human beings at the end of the day, and their psyche can be messed up. And there's no other proof than the transfer portal in college. When coaches leave, players end up leaving too. So you think that doesn't happen in the NFL as far as their development? Like, especially when they're young guys, first round picks, so much is expected of this guy. This guy's seen his jersey all in the crowd, and people are disappointed with his performance. That's got to weigh on you constantly. Like, this guy's a bust. This guy's a bust. Now he goes somewhere where he's going to prove it, and especially being in a place like the Raiders where I can get myself to a good spot on a team that's mediocre and then find myself somewhere else because I can gain my confidence back. And I think that's kind of where he was at, and I see Devin White's name brought up. I don't think he moves the needle for you guys either.
I was going to ask that because that's hey, shout out my dog, Chris. I think I don't know what side of the fence I'm on with this yet. And I know that's like it sucks when you got to do this podcast shit. You got to have a side. And I understand that, but I'm still trying to figure it out because for me, it's like, yeah, you got him dirt cheap, right? You got him dirt cheap, which is okay. That's fine, right? I'm not mad that you didn't give him a large amount of money. But where I struggle is like the last time I saw this man make real impact was 2019, 2020. It's 2025. So it's like in that whole gap, I saw him get beat out by Nakobe Dean. I saw him go to Houston and not make an impact. I saw all these things, bro. And it's like, how can I confidently say, yeah, he's about to turn this corner right now? There are certain things that I just don't know. I mean, let me know.
It's the opposite with Devin White than it was a Cleveon Chason. I get there. I got Levante David. I got a great defense around me. We're balling out. I'm asked to do my job and do it in a way that's going to be successful for the team. And it's going to make me look really, really good. I can get to the quarterback. And remember, we were talking about, man, Devin White might be a top 10 guy.
Low key, they was talking about it.
And in the interviews, he started believing himself too. Oh, I'm one of the best in the league. It was the opposite for him. His head was way too big for the situation. And when people started leaving the team, Antoine Winfield and them started stepping up to the plate. And Levante David's like 50 years old now and outperforming you still. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like you're to go to the Eagles where you're thriving or you're supposed to thrive with these guys. Like they're bringing you on because they think that you can be on the amount of talent that's there, or at least show some signs of let's help my team out. Let's get us to the next level. And then you get let go in a couple of weeks and you go to Houston and you get buried on that depth chart too. So
yeah,
I think this is one of those things where maybe Pete Carroll's like, I watched the tape. That 1 year was crazy. Maybe I can bring that back out of him. So there might be some hope there, but I think Devin White, if he doesn't take a step back and humble himself, he's just going to end up in the same spot, be on your roster for 3 weeks and find himself out on the Browns or something like that. He'll have like a Jadeveon Clowney type of career if he continues this.
See, and this is what, you know, and again, we got him dirt cheap, so it's really not no risk. So it's like, it's nothing involved, but you still got to talk about, you know, what he may or may not bring. Now, if we use this man in some sort of pass rushing role, which he doesn't have the size for a pass rusher, but the speed that he has when he's going to the quarterback, when he's blitzing, if we can use that with the D line that I think we'll have, it's going to be, that's a nice little deadly piece. But then, you know, people still tend to think that he's going to do that for all 3 downs. He's not going to do that for all 3 downs. You're going to bring him in sparingly, maybe 3rd down, maybe occasional, you know, packages that we have, but that's not an every down linebacker. So there's still a hole. You feel what I'm saying? Like we still have it, and he don't cover well. So Elandon Roberts can't cover well. Devin White can't cover well. So now we got to. So now this is where it leads me, right? That I'm thinking
before
like
you say that, I just want to mention one thing, not to cut you off. One thing that I learned in my scouting ventures last year, and this was an important piece that I really didn't think about, and this is why James Gladstone, who's the assistant GM with the Rams, that's now with the Jaguars, he was in one of my courses, and one of the guys asked him, he was like, "What makes the organization for the Rams so good? Even though you guys didn't have a lot of draft picks, you guys seem to always be in the conversation of a playoff team or Super Bowl team." And he was like, the one thing that we always thought of was if we can develop inside in the house itself, missing a roster spot of somebody that doesn't know the system costs more than the contract that we gave the person to come there. And I was like, that's pretty deadly. He was like, a lot of teams don't think about it like that, but Sean was really smart about that. Like, I'd rather keep the guy that knows the system here instead of cutting people all the time, because eventually they might pick it up and be great, right? It's more empowering that way for guys. It goes beyond the contract and what it says. So yeah, you might have gotten Devin White really cheap, but if you let go of him and then get somebody that was even worse because you didn't want to develop him, it's just kind of like you're just replacing a lemon car with another lemon car that got you 3,000 extra miles. You know what I'm saying? What was really the difference at the end of the day? Just fix the problem.
Right. And
I thought that was very interesting.
That is I appreciate it for that, because that was a gem right there. But that is true, right? So that kind of leads me to my next point, because we were talking about Jeremy Chin, right? So what do you think kind of would be more the possibility of saying, all right, bro, we might need you to come down in the box a little bit more and try to cover some of these tight ends, try to cover some of these, I don't know about slot guys, but maybe some running backs, certain things, right? But either way, like try to take on some of that. How much do you think he can in a bigger role? Because as of right now, as the depth chart stands, like he's going to need to do that. There is no other person on our roster as far as linebackers that be able to cover somebody consistently.
Yeah, when you exhaust guys, that's where injuries happen most likely, right? So you have to kind of play your cards in a way that you can utilize Jeremy Chinn's full talent without asking him to do more than his gas tank says it is, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
I think Jeremy Chinn is good when you need it. Like if let's say Devin White missed a tackle, Jeremy Chinn's gonna get that tackle. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
You use him in that fashion. Yeah, he could play in the box, but really and truly, I think you disguise a lot of what he's doing. That when you see a safety come down in the box, and you're like, oh, it might be cover 3, and then he drops back, and now it's cover 4, and now the middle of the field is covered now with Jeremy Chinn, and we can't run mesh and all this other stuff because he's threatening there. So if you kind of use him like in a decoy situation, that's kind of like a quasi linebacker, just let him do his thing. I think he would do really good playing like the weak side of the field where he can just be a nickel, kind of off the hash mark as a linebacker, and just have him kind of play that area of the field. I don't see him being a free safety for you guys.
I don't either.
I think Palomalu's got that pretty much, shut down for you guys. But if you're going to bring Jeremy Chinn in, allow him to be as much as a strong safety as possible while mixing it up with them. Like, it's great to have a piece like that. Like, that's why Colorado was so good at college, because they had Travis Hunter. They could do offensive and defensive stuff with them. But how, of course, they didn't limit Travis Hunter as a gas tank. But,
right.
It's hard to be like, oh, my God, we have such a threat at so many different positions. I want to use them. So, and I think Pete's going to be really good at, like, managing the gas tank of a player like him, because he's going to want to be out there once he makes a good play. And it's going to be like, we got you on this play. Come out for a couple snaps.
Let
the defense do this thing, and then come in on a critical third down when we really need you, and you could be otherworldly that way. So, how do you separate the player from wanting to be an all-pro versus being a really good team player that's winning games too? You can't expect everybody to be an all-pro, but your mindset should never be, I'm worried about my stats. I'm worried about doing everything I can for the team, and those accolades will come later too. So, I think that's where the Raiders need to think about right now. A lot of people are so worried about in this offseason replacing their team with the star players and not worrying about how that star player is going to fit, because he can get buried really, really quick and not be exactly what that star talent was, right? So I think that's what's going on with the Dolphins with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Like, they want Jalen Waddle to be as good as Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill knows that his snaps are limited and he's getting older. So what did they do last year? They drafted like 3 wide receivers. His time is coming to an end. Like, it just is what it is. So,
no, and I fully agree, bro. I mean, especially with not exhausting the gas tank. As of right now, it's going to be kind of required of him to do certain things because of how the linebacker room is. I don't see him playing free safety at all. The thing is, I like Isaiah Palomalu, and I just don't think his natural position is free safety either. So then I think there's a little thing we have right there, but I think he can do it. I think he'll be able to transition fully and be able to do that like he's supposed to. But transitioning to the offensive side of the ball, right? And then we'll get into that, and then we kind of get into our draft talk. But the big acquisition, right? The big one, which everybody says, well, this is the only one that matters for real. But Geno, right? We ended up getting Geno from Seattle. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the man is a top 10, top 8 quarterback or whatever. But if you told me that he's a top 12, top 13 quarterback, I'd be like, yeah, I think he's around there. Like, if I had to put rankings in, maybe 15 for sure, top 15 for sure. I think he's a top 15 quarterback, which the Raiders have not had in I don't know how long. I don't remember the last time I seen top 10, top 15, top 20 quarterback play in a minute, for real. So it's like, for me, this is a good signing. Now we got to work on the weaponry, but I like it. Where are you at when you heard that the Raiders acquired Geno? I mean, where did your head go from there?
I really thought the Seahawks finessed you guys, to be honest. I was actually
Really?
on the other side of
Okay,
it.
let me know. Let me know.
Because I don't think Geno's going into a wide receiver situation that's going to be better than the Seahawks. Like,
see, that's the thing I was going to get to. Go, keep going, bro. You're preaching.
Yeah. Let's think about it like this. DK Metcalf was a great talent on the outside. We already know that. And
Right.
I'm gonna get to the spicy one at the end, and people are not gonna like what I'm about to say. On the other side of that, you had Tyler Lockett and Jake Bobo, who were two great weapons. And I think mark this down, ladies and gentlemen, put Jake Bobo on your fantasy team this year. And my man Reflect the Sun is in here, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about because he's a Seattle fan.
I've seen some things of Bobo sometimes. You've been making some plays over the years, man.
I've loved Bobo for back since he was at UCLA, man. And then the lastly but not least is Jackson Smith and Jigba. Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba led the league. He was the best slot receiver by far, and it wasn't close. Now, the great thing about having a bad offensive line, but having a great slot receiver is you can get the ball out quick because you know he's going to make moves. Mm-hmm. I also want to point out the fact that once everybody talks about this bad O-line is that the Seahawks did not have a consistently healthy weapon at running back all year long, right? And we expected Kenneth Walker to be good. We expected Zach Charbonnet to be in there full time, and it just wasn't happening that way. So your O-line is going to look worse when they're just pass blocking the whole time. They're not pass blocking is different than run blocking, ladies and gentlemen. Like, no matter how you want to think about it, it is. And that philosophy changes everything for Geno. Now, guess what? When Kenneth Walker was healthy and the wide receiver weapons were healthy, Geno Smith had a better year the previous year than he did last year. Is that a coincidence? It just comes down to brass tacks of this whole thing. So I love Brock Bowers. I do. I don't think whatsoever that, you know, I knew that he was going to be a Hall of Fame pick. I was so sure of it. I never buy rookie jerseys. I bought his jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Brock is real deal. Yeah, Brock's a real deal.
But I don't think he's a replacement for three great wide receivers that he had down there, or maybe four at the end of the day. Like he had four really good receivers. So
I fully agree with you. And this is the thing. I've preached this the whole time. Now, for me personally, I think what Geno brings, the talent he brings and the arm talent, the Raiders ain't had that in a minute. Like, as far as that. Now, O-line wise, their running backs were shaky. Our running backs were dog shit too. So it's kind of it's tomato, whatever you want to say. But our
your running backs were the Seattle's running backs were hurt. The Raiders running backs were ass.
We're dog shit. Our run game was dog shit. So it's like you're going into, so you're hoping you get a better situation because you got Chip Kelly. You know, Chip gonna run the ball, and you know he's gonna try to get a running game started. I do think, to a degree, our offensive line is a tad bit better than Seattle's. I think our offensive line is better than Seattle's. I will say that. As far as pass blocking, I think they're better. So he will have a little bit more protection in that, but I agree with you there, and we'll be talking about this for weeks. And the Rundown fam know, bro, I've looked at our receiver core, right? And we're gonna talk about the 6th pick, and we might talk about a prospect in a minute. But I look at our receiving core, and I'm like, bro, there's no way you could tell me we go into the fucking season tomorrow and you're excited to play a game, bro. After Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, we got guys like Kyle Phillips, Alex Bachman, Ramel Keaton, Christian Wilkerson. The list goes on. Bro, after the first two, and even really the one, you talking about Jacoby, most people, if you're not really a Raider fan, you're going to look at Trey Tucker, you're like, who the fuck is that? So most of the times, bro, we only got one dude.
I talked to Trey Tucker. We know all about Trey Tucker.
See,
he even comment on one of my videos.
Y'all tapped in, and I love Trey. I fuck with you. I want him because I really do think awesome. With Geno he'll do better. He'll do better. I think he'll do way better. He ain't had consistent quarterback play and blah 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 all that. So I think this year he'll be good. But after them two, bro, it's like we don't have anybody else to really take pressure off of that. Like it'll be I've said by week 7, 8. It's easy for a defense to be like, well, if you do pick, who we going to talk about in a minute, maybe. If you do pick your boy, we taking his ass out the game by week 8. You're not running the ball no more. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. We gonna squeeze, bro, and we gonna squeeze all your receivers. So I mean, I do agree with you there. Now let's transition a little bit. Go ahead.
Last second on Gino. I think the season is going to start out very promising with you guys because of how good Gino is as a leader and knowing how to play the quarterback position. That's a different thing than being a talented quarterback. Playing the quarterback position in the NFL is super important to get you to the next level. But when week 5 or week 6 hits in the season and where that awesome quarterback play runs out, it's because he doesn't have the talent to get to the next level, and these guys are starting to feel comfortable. A lot of pros say by week 5 we start to get really comfortable in the game. You know what I'm saying? And things start to click a little bit, and that's where Gino's going to really have to step up. I mean, we saw the great game that Gino had against the Lions last year, where they were this close away from beating them in the regular season. It was a great. I think it was a Thursday night game. They had a great game that game. But again, because Gino. The rest of the season, Gino just wasn't processing and all that great, even though having the great weapons on his team. So I think it's great from the aspect of like, and I'll always say this. I said this once and I'll say it again. Think about the great quarterbacks in the league, the great running backs, wide receivers. Just go to any positional group in the NFL. The reason why Trevor Lawrence is not moving the needle for the Jaguars is because he has nobody there to threaten his position. CJ Beathard is not moving the needle for Trevor Lawrence. So Geno Smith will move the needle for any other quarterback that comes in there that is a rookie. You go and get spoil it, but Tyler Shuck, to me, with Geno Smith, moves the needle for the Raiders in 2 years. Tyler Shuck's going to be a great quarterback in 2 years. That's my thing. Or Curtis Work or whoever you want to pick, but it could be any of these quarterbacks. Shador, Cam. Having Geno there for the next 3-4 years is great for their development, and he's going to challenge them to be a really good player because of one reason. He respects Pete. He wants Pete to go out on a good note, and he wants to leave his mark as a great teammate at the end of the day that helped develop the next great guy to do great things, because Geno's not going to want to look at the next quarterback that comes into the NFL that's a first-round pick and be like, man, they're going to end up like me and they have a resurgence later on in their career. That wouldn't fit good on my conscience as a quarterback too.
That's real. That's real.
You know, I think Geno's a great teammate in that aspect. And there's, I like to watch interviews of other players that have played with other people just to see how they feel about their current players. Because, people go to other teams and then start talking junk like,
oh, no, that's real. Yeah, you already know how it is. This is like you break up. When you break up with your girl or for the ladies, break up with your guy, you're going to go to your friend and be like, well, that motherfucker, you already know how it be. You know how it
Yeah. So I think it's the same way with him. Is like, he's just going to want a great situation for the next great guy that comes in, because he's 34.
Not too many years left. Not too many years.
His time is limited, man. He's my age. You know what I'm saying? I can only imagine how he feels. I wake up at aches and pains right now. So,
hey, we ain't got there yet, man. But all the people tell me it's coming, bro. I'm already got it though. I turned 26 last year, bro. My back started hurting immediately, so my ass is there. I will. Hey, first of all, real quick, I didn't even give us proper due, but shout out to Reflect the Sun, man, for the $10 holla. Appreciate you, big dog, man. Dante from ECG and Raider Rundown. I'm here for it. Thank you. Yep. Appreciate the super chats, man. Thank you. But now we get into the halfway point of the show, right? We tap in with the chat a little bit, and then we'll transition to the draft, because there are some takes that I definitely want to hear from you. Generalized draft takes, and then we'll start getting into them specific people that we talked about a little bit. Our guy Severe in the building, man. What's the deal, bro? What's going on, Severe? He said, what'd he say? I'm good with Shuck. Dante put him on my radar. He's QB4 now. And I'm not gonna lie, bro, and I'm mad I didn't get to go. But since the Senior Bowl, right? It was fucking, if you watched it on the broadcast, that goddamn Louis Riddick, he just kept saying the man's name every 2 seconds. So you was kind of forced to be like, well, who the hell is this dude? So then you start looking. I liked what I saw, right? And then you start diving in a little bit deeper.
Like week 3 of the season. Actually, I started talking about him last year when he was at Texas Tech. Then he ended up, I think, breaking his fibula at Texas Tech, and I was like, man, that sucks, because they almost beat Oregon when Oregon was hot too. And Yeah, I was so glad he had the resurgence. Brian Brown brought him down there, and the Brown brothers got him straight. That's one of the things I asked him in my interview. Like, I love Tyler Shuck. I love him as a person too. And one of the things that I told him, I was like, dude, I hate the fact that nobody's talking about you more. And we've been talking about you all year. And me and my guys were there after the interview. He came up and shook all of our hands. He said, thanks for believing in me, guys. And I was like, dude, man. I'm an even bigger fan of you now, bro. Like, I'm on the Shuck train for sure. I think I know he's 30, 25.
I was going to ask, does the age matter to you at all in the evaluation? If we're in the room, does it matter?
I'm the guy, and I'm always go by my theory on things and go by my eyeballs and how I feel, because I feel like I hit, when you go back in my not my mock drafts, but the way I talk about some of these players, I hit it like a 75% rate on success for a lot of these players that come out in the draft. So that's just evaluating myself. And what I tell people, like Bo Nix was my number one quarterback. He was damn near the number one quarterback this year. And people were slamming me last year, but I'm like, you guys got to understand something.
Guilty as charged. I didn't like Bo Nix. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, everybody knows, like, I was not a Bo Nix fan, right? But at the end of the day, bro, I think he went to the right situation for him, like the perfect situation where Sean Payton was gonna get where he was supposed to get out of him. So it ended up working out regardless of it. We gonna see.
But I said, I'll say this. I think the mold, and people tend to forget about this now because of how great a season Jaden Daniels had. But he's 24. Bo Nix is 24. Michael Penix Jr. is 24.
This is
so true. The fact that we're talking about age on players is actually a better situation. And Tyler Shuck said this in his interview with one of these major stations that I was watching. He said, he got asked the question, well, you're 25. How do you think people are going to feel about that? And he was like, well, if you ask a lot of people, a lot of these quarterbacks later on in their age hit their stride, like, John Elway and the rest of these guys, by the time they're 26, 27, they're in the prime of their careers and having the best stats that they've ever had and progressed. And I was like, that's a great answer. I mean, to just go out there and just be like, look, I know I'm old, but these quarterbacks already broke the mold on age. So I don't look at age. I don't care about your 40 time. I don't care about your height. Whatever I see, and we'll watch the film here, whatever I see on film is how I evaluate players. When I talk about like the Senior Bowl and the Combine, and people know how I feel about, all that stuff, the Pro Day, I want you to do those things because I want you to compete. Because if I'm a GM or if I'm a coach on another team, I want to see that you weren't scared to go out there and have your worst day ever if that was the case. Because I know what you can do is you could take everything that you did bad on in the Combine and you come back in your pro day and say that I can improve, because you know what, in the quarterback's mind, throw an interception, what you got to do the next time you get out there. Make sure you don't do the same thing you did twice. So why isn't this the mindset of a lot of these players? Like, if I was still coaching, that would be one of the things I tell any of the quarterbacks that I would coach. Go do your Senior Bowl, go do your Combine, go do your pro day. Because you know what? Curtis Rourke played with a torn ACL all year long. Got to the Combine with the leg brace, and they told him on the phone, they said, you could stay in your hotel room. We've had I think it was an NFL like surgeon called down and said he cannot compete. We can't allow him to compete today. He was ready to go out there and throw passes. That's the guy I want on my team, bro. I'm just being honest with you. That's the guy I want on my team because I know he's going to do everything he needs to do to show that he belongs somewhere. I can't say that about Shador and Cam and all those guys. Like,
and then selfishly, I will say, right, like, I was watching a lot of Shador during the season. Like, I've been on Shador since Jackson State, so that's been me. So I've always been like, yeah, I'm a Shador fan. I'm gonna watch that, right? And I was hoping during the season, while the way the Raiders were falling, and I'm like, well, that's probably the pick. Might be, still, you never know, but I do like Shook in the evaluation. Now looking at him, I'm like, first of all, I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes my evaluation with the quarterbacks went, if the age was a certain thing, I was like, nah, I'm not with that. I'm not with that. But like you said, I've had to tailor that down, right? I've had to tailor that down because now they're coming out older, right? You talk about the transfer portal, you talk about them moving schools and shit like that. Sometimes they come out and they're just way older. They're more experienced. They've seen a lot of defenses. So
It's unfortunate because if you were in college, right? And
right.
It's like I'm gonna give an excuse for them. And during the stint of like these last 3 draft classes, and I think it ends next year, you had 2 COVID waivers for some guys. Some guys got injured. Some guys played on a shorter season because of COVID, so they wanted to come back there next year and play a full season. Or had this, like Bo Nix said, I only came back because I thought that my team could be a national championship caliber team. That's the only reason he came back to Oregon. And I was like, okay, I like that. That's cool. He wasn't coming back to improve his draft stock. He's like, I would have. It is what it is, but I wanted to see my team do well. So, and then the transfer portal window had stopped the 1 year sit out for a lot of these players. So you could transfer at 2 different times after the season in the spring. So a lot of these guys' coaches go to other schools. And what do you expect these guys just to stay? No, they want to go there and probably improve their stock for 2 years. Like, and then the biggest one out of everything. So now we consider those 2 factors. The third factor is NIL. So I don't necessarily need to come out and get the bag because I'm getting the bag in college right now.
100%. 100%.
So
there's no need to put yourself in that risk, bro. If you already, you cushy at your college, bro. You getting whatever you want.
All 3 of those things happen around the same time, and people don't realize that. Like, that's a lot of. If I was a player, I would have stuck back too, bro. I'm just being completely honest.
No, hey, they got it cushy, bro. I mean, I'm like, goddamn, bro. I'm a couple years late because I'm like, shit. I could have went to college and got some of this bread. They over there getting all this money now.
Michael Penix tore my knee up the same way twice.
Man, bro,
I'm gonna stay, and I'm gonna transfer to Washington, and I'm gonna be under a great coach, and I'm gonna get to a national championship game. And guess what? The Falcons traded up to 7 and picked them.
Draft stock still improved, bro. We still good. So
yeah, I don't think all that stuff matters anymore, man. To be honest,
not really.
It's going to come back down to the 22 and 21 year olds now.
You're right because of the COVID year. The COVID year did fuck up a lot of things.
2. They got 2 COVID waivers, not 1.
Right.
They got 2.
I didn't even think about that. That did mess up a lot of shit. Like it never dawns on you like that shit does run out eventually. And then all of a sudden now we back to how they usually are when they're all young and they coming out now. But that brings me to this scenario. I wasn't going to talk about it, but just the way the conversation is going, bro, I feel like we got to talk about this. So the Raiders number 6 pick overall, right? So we're here. There's a multitude of places we can go. I do want to talk Ashton Genty with you a little bit. But I want to talk this player because it's relevant, and you just talked about it with Severe and Pharaoh, and I think we got to bring this up because of just the conversation. And that's T-Mac, right? Teteroa McMillan. Now, I like T-Mac, right? I'm a fan. I'll fuck with T-Mac. There's no problem. I really feel like if the Raiders took him at 6, I'm not going to bat no eye because he brings what the hell we need, right? Like we need that type of receiver, long body, can go up. 50-50 balls ain't really 50-50 balls. Them shits is 70-30, whatever the case. Like, we need that, right? But what came out this week with the video, and I'm sure you saw where everybody saw the goddamn, I don't like watching film and shit like that. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. For guys, we love ball. So that shit rubs somebody like, you and I and a lot in the chat the wrong way, bro. It rubs us the wrong way. So it rubbed me the wrong way initially. Where are you on that? I know it probably don't affect the draft. It don't affect the draft stock to me, like, oh, he falls out of the first round, no shit like that. But it did rub me the wrong way a little bit. I mean, how did you feel about that?
I'm gonna tell you right now that that's all smoke. That video came out close to 3 years ago, first of all.
Okay.
And then the second part of that is, and I know scouts, I know coaches all around the country. If you think that Teteroa McMillan is walking in there on Wednesday afternoon when they watch film for the week, and you don't think he's in that room, you're sadly mistaken. Maybe he doesn't watch film on his own and study more, but really and truly, the only thing that they care about, are you in that wide receiver room with the rest of your brothers trying to figure this out? He's absolutely there, or he would not be a starter regardless of what talent he has. Sure. And another thing is Jed Fish is a stickler with film. Like when he was there at Arizona, I don't know how Brent Brennan was when he came there after, Jed Fish went out to Washington, but I know with Jed Fish, he is all about film. That's all he talks about. And in one of his interviews, he said he was looking forward to, before he went to Washington, that the two guys that he looked forward to coaching the next season was T-Mac and Noah Fafita, because they were film junkies. I remember him saying this. They were film junkies, and they are the two most talented players on that team that are going to be leaders to help them propel themselves forward. Unfortunately, he went to Washington and got the bag, but those are his words as a coach, not mine. So I think that whole video is smoke, and it kind of pisses me off that like people don't do their research enough, and just people pull up something on the podcast and be like, oh, he doesn't watch film. You have no idea what these college kids go through to get to their position. If you think talent gets them in the position that he's at right now, you're sadly mistaken. All that stuff has to match up, because they'll just tell you to go to the transfer portal. We don't want you on this team. And and he balled out. I mean, no Fafita, and I was so excited about him this year, man. Like, so excited. Like, I had Heisman hopes for him.
That man, bro. He shit the bed. He shit the bed this year.
No, T-Mac saved his life on a lot of passes.
Yeah.
So,
oh hell yeah. This is like, for me, I agree with you to a point. Like, and again, I'm not gonna lie. So, as a fan, right? Sometimes the fan creeps in, and immediately, like, because I'm a fan of certain players, like I sometimes take what they do, and it's like, dog, I want to see you do good on all facets, right? So immediately, when I thought this was a recent video, I'm like, dog, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't say that right now. Like, even if that's how you feel, your dumb ass can't say that now. Like, what are you doing? So immediately, bro, I was hot. I was mad.
Well, it's a double standard, right? Here's a double standard with people. People are gonna get pissed off about this, and maybe some people in the comments, but I don't care. Why is it a double standard of him saying, I don't really watch film, and you don't really know what aspect he doesn't watch film? But then Jaden Daniels can meet with the Giants last year, and Brian Daboll said, explain who you're throwing to on this route tree. You know what he said? I'm throwing a touchdown. And they're all sitting there laughing. Why didn't he get any flack for that? He couldn't even explain the damn play. But y'all scared about T-Mac saying that he doesn't watch film. Like, that should have been just as concerning. But no, everybody was like, oh, that's a great answer. No, it's a stupid answer, because Bo Nix and the rest of them answered the same damn question and explained the route tree, which is more impressive to me than somebody saying I'm going to throw a touchdown. Of course you're going to throw a touchdown. That's every quarterback's mentality. But yeah, it's a double standard there. And I
for sure.
That mentioned this one thing, but don't want to mention that. Yeah, I agree with that. Fake outrage for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like immediately, I'm like, well, of course, I'm like, bro, because we all know football. We around football. There's no way this man's not watching film, right? There's no way he's not watching film. But what I'm stressing is, like, it's probably, like you said, the amount he's watching when he's not with other people, right? That's the thing where if you were an NFL team, naturally, you're gonna probably ask him, like, you're gonna ask him that. It's just, even though it was 3 years ago, they're probably still gonna be like, hey, dog, well, how much film you watching now? Like, I know it was when you was 19, but now when you by yourself versus now, I mean, like, what we doing now? I'm pretty sure that he is, but I can understand. If it was recent, then I'm like, bro, I'm on his ass. I ain't gonna cap. Like, if it was recent, bro, I don't got no sympathy for that, because I don't know no good player that don't watch no film.
Absolutely. And people act like, oh, just because he was 19, the dude's like, what, in his 20s now? And
yeah, that's 3 years ago. Then it's different. It's different. You can
and now it's like you guys can't act like a guy can't. I used to hate watching film in high school. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Oh yeah, no, I hated that shit.
I was a quarterback. I used to hate it. I used to hate in the summertime when our coaches would change on offense, and I would get a 200-page playbook, and it'd be something completely different than what we ran before. You think that shit is fun? It's not. It's absolutely not.
You talk about that, bro. I was a running back, bro. So for me, I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I get it. When you're young, bro, you don't understand. Like, okay, maybe I'm watching the linebackers, how they're moving, how they're shit. When you're young, you play running back, bro, like, just give me the fucking ball, bro. Like, what are we watching?
I know what you did. I know what you did. You was one of those ones that saw pass protection, and you had ran the ball 3 times in a row. You said, I'm not fucking blocking on this one. I'm too tired for this shit. I'm taking a play off.
It was one of those, but hey, boy, I'm clipping that leg. You coming in that? I'm gonna clip that leg real quick. If that shit ain't work, dog, it's like Oscar.
Yep.
Get that shit.
Sit on the ground for extra 3 seconds. You good, homie?
Get that shit out, man. Get that shit out. But yeah, no, real talk. I feel you, bro. So it's like when you're young, I understand it, right? 19, you excuse that away. But you know, I always like to highlight the fact of like teams are always going to look at that. It don't matter how long it is. They're gonna ask and they're gonna be like, "Hey, dog, so what's up now?" You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's just part of the evaluation. And as long as he answers correctly, I don't see an issue with him going, you know, whatever. Now, there has been a lot of hate when it comes to him. You know, Steve Smith came out and said some shit. Now everybody all of a sudden they're like, oh man, this man, somebody called him something, bro. And that shit pissed me off to the ultimate degree. It was so disrespectful, bro. What the hell was it? I gotta remember, but it was some like D- receiver. And I'm like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? Like it was like so egregious. I just don't understand some of the hate.
Well, I love what former players have to say about current players right now, and I always take what they say because I didn't play in the league. I didn't coach in the league. So, and I'm always trying to learn something new. But I'm allowed to disagree with a lot of people. Oh, that man for sure. Appreciate you becoming a member, man.
Appreciate it, man. That's big shout out, man. That's love, bro. Appreciate it.
But on the contrary, I look at Steve Smith, who's been shitting on Terrell McMillan, saying he leaves plays on the table and all this other stuff. And I disagree with him. And he's like, well, you know, I can say these things because I took off plays. And I'm like, yeah, you definitely know your stuff. Like I think he's a Hall of Famer. Like if I was in the same room with him, I would want him to explain exactly what he's saying so I can learn more. But from everything that he's saying right now, I'm like, Steve, how can you look at Tedderell McMillan and his situation that he was in this year and say that like he was not the number one guy in college? I don't agree with him there. And I wish I could, you know, bring him on my show and we can have that conversation because I'm more just curious of what his thought process is because maybe I'm missing something. I will be the first to admit, like, hey, I'm missing something. Steve Smith came on and taught me a lot of shit that I didn't know. And I'll take a step back. But from what I've seen, like making 2 videos on the kid on his platform right now, shitting on Tedderell McMillan, I don't like when former pros do that shit. I'm going to just be completely honest. It's not protecting the shield. It's not, you know, Steve Smith got the opportunity to play in the league and he did the most with it. But let's not act like Steve Smith is the best person in the world too. Like he's kind of a shitty person at the end of the day. But that's neither here nor there, however you feel about him personally. I just think that that's a bad taste. You're not giving him criticism in the fact that what's going to make him better. You're just saying, this kid's overrated. He's not the Drake London type of guy. Drake London does way more than, like, you're just shitting on Tet right now. And you're going to make, maybe it's reverse psychology. Maybe he's putting a chip on his shoulder because he really believes in the kid. Maybe. Or maybe it's the other side. He's just shitting on him just to shit on him because he doesn't like the way he plays. I don't know.
Am I tripping? But I mean, I see when people say Drake London, but like to me, I think he's better than Drake London. I think he's better. I
love Drake London. When everybody was shitting on Drake London, he was in my top 5. I was like, what the fuck are y'all talking about?
And I'm not shitting on Drake London, but when I look at T-Mac, I'm like, I don't see Drake. I think he can be better than Drake London. Just in my opinion. I think he can be better.
I agree. I said this on my show, and just for your audience, you're probably gonna kill me, but there was 2 generational players last year. One of them was Adrian Cooper, that plays for the Packers right now, and the other one was Brock Bowers. And I seem pretty right on track for both of those guys. Right. The only other generational player that I see in this draft, he's the only one, and that's Tedderell McMillan. I'm still going to do more of my homework before draft time comes around because that's my end date for doing my analysis. But actually, no, it's not. We still do analysis after that to see how they fit on teams. But for right now, I don't see anybody that moves the needle more than Tedderell McMillan at this point in time. He's the only generational one out of every positional group that I can see. Maybe Mason Graham. I'm starting to.
That's where I go, bro. Like if I go defense now, I like Mace. Mace is nice.
Travis Hunter did not lock up. I have plenty of film on that.
No, actually, Travis had one of his worst days against T-Mac last year.
Both times.
I remember that.
Both games.
Yeah. Both. Last year it was belt to ass last year. This year is a little different, but it was still belt. He was still getting busy. He still made some plays.
It was belt to ass.
So
his stats didn't say it this year, but it was belt to ass. Like it was crazy.
So that's real, bro. He and Travis told you yourself. I think it was an interview. Travis came out. They was like, nah, it's T-Mac the hardest cover. I ain't gonna lie. So he came out and said it himself. So
yeah. He said that. He said that was the hardest. That was the worst matchup I had was T-Mac all year long, which is crazy because Alec Ayo Manor from Stanford gave him the worst beat down out of everybody.
Like, that almost like 200 yards or some shit like that, bro. Yeah, that was a weird ass game, bro. It was like if you were up at East Coast or whatever the fuck, that game was like at 2 a.m, bro. I'm watching. I was
watching that game.
I'm watching Ayo Manor cook this man at 2 a.m. and shit. I'm like, God damn, what's going on? But this brings us into the draft talk, right? Into some of the big boards, some of the prospects we want to look at. But before we start looking at some of the guys we want to look at, just number 6 overall, right? We talked about T-Mac.
Yeah.
Now, for me personally, right, I've been on my show, and even for some of your audience that might be Raider fans, bro, I done said, if we go on offense, go T-Mac. If the Raiders are going offense, go T-Mac, because he feels the need, right? And I understand we need a running back, but with this goddamn class and the way it is, to take one at 6 is a little rich, in my opinion, when you can get damn near the top tier receiver in the goddamn draft to pair with Brock Bowers, to pair with Jacoby Myers. Now we got some variety out here. All right. Now, I've said it all along, bro, and people have killed me on Twitter. I don't give a fuck. They kill me here sometimes. I don't want to take Genty at 6. I don't. And this is not because I don't think he's a good player, but I'm a former running back. I'm not taking no running back at 6, bro. It just at top 10 for real. It just makes no sense unless you are a team that's ready to take that running back. If your O-line's ready, if your play calling's ready, things of that nature. Where are you on Genty as a prospect? Are you with everybody else? Because you're not a Raiders fan, so you overview. Are you with everybody? Like, yeah, they should get Genty, or how do you feel?
I have Genty number 3 on my board, and my top 3 are pretty tight with each other. I still have Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee as my number 1. I don't see.
Okay. Let me see.
I don't see what people don't see, man. Marion Hampton's my number 2. I've been talking about him since high school. People know that.
I like Marion. Yeah, I love Marion.
Byshawn Sutton is my number 4, and Ashton Genty is my number 3, and then I have Cam Scatterbill as my number 5.
Okay.
I love Genty, man. I love everything that he does, and he's just got to go to the right place. What I'll say about this is, do not go to the Raiders. And I don't think the Raiders are going to draft him because he doesn't fit what Chip Kelly's going to want to do. Everywhere Chip Kelly has gone, he has had 2 running backs that damn near split carries, either 60-40 or 50-50. So when you're looking at this full system, you have to look at Genty and what he did the previous year with George Holani. He wasn't that involved like he was last year. Well, he wasn't involved in that scheme. Last year, he had 300 plus carries or whatever it was. He's a workhorse, man. And one thing that I can actually pull up on film, and what I saw was there was a 3rd down that had happened, and he was in pass protection, and he got blown up. And he's on the ground like, gets up. The guy, Maddox Madsen completes the pass for a 1st down. Then they immediately go to Genty, and he runs for 45 yards upfield. He's a tough son of a bitch. I love Genty, right?
Yeah.
But do you think Chip's gonna do that? No, he's a locomotive.
You take your ass out after that. Yeah, you're gonna take your ass out after that, bro.
Yeah, he's a locomotive, right? So you got to be able to give him carries, and he likes to feel himself in there. So I think it would be positional malpractice if they draft Genty and use him 50% of the time.
Fact.
I just wouldn't agree with that at all. T-Mac should be your answer to go to. And if it's not T-Mac, if Travis Hunter drops far down, then Travis Hunter should be your pick.
Preach. Because I said this on Saturday, bro. You might have been on the show. I'm like, bro, if Travis Hunter falls to us on 6, That's 2 straight years we getting a player we have no business getting, because we had no business fucking getting Brock Bowers last year. And really, a lot of us were scratching our heads because we had Michael Mayer. But now I don't think nobody cares anymore. So now you talk about this year, bro. This man fills 2 needs. But that's a hope and a prayer. But I've said this all the time with Genty, right? You just said something about pass blocking, bro. I brought up pass blocking multiple times, and people will literally sit there and tell me, bro, running back's job is not to pass protect. I lose my mind. I lose it. Because I'm like, dog, there's no way you can watch this man against Hawaii, against Nevada, against some of these teams, and he's getting blown up like he is, and you can tell me he's going to come into a division with fucking Dre Greenlaw and Nick Bolton and do these things? Like, it's just not going to work, bro. There's no way you change that within the year.
I think he's a better pass blocker than what people give him credit for. But it's because he's in there like 95% of the time. So like we were talking about you, like you run the ball 3 times real heavy. You think that you might not take a play
that's real
off.
talk. That's real talk.
And I think sometimes that happens. It's like Genty is so fucking tired by the time you ask him to blow up a player, you can't even compare Travion or Amarion, or well, you can kind of compare Amarion because Amarion's out there about the same.
Oh yeah, they was running him to the ground, bro. They was running his ass to the ground.
But Amarion's a different beast, and that's why he's ahead of Genty to me, is because he does everything better than Genty does, just by a slight amount, right? Like he just does. And I think that's the case. Like I have a whole thread of like Ashton Genty pass blocking, and it might not be like the sexiest thing, but what are you asked to do as a running back? If I'm the quarterback and I'm sitting there on a screen pass and you have to go up and block the A gap, I just need you to chip the guy and throw him off by a hash mark. If you do that, I can get the ball out quicker. I'm not asking you to go up there and blow people up like Travion Henderson will. Like that's not what I'm asking.
That's a different animal. That's a different animal when it comes to that.
Yeah, it looks sexy on film, but how realistic is that when they get to the NFL? I trust Genty's going to be able to throw a guy off, or at least try to, with the effort that he has, to get him off by a hash mark, and I'm cool with that. Because you see guys like Marvin Harrison Jr. who ain't gonna block shit. You can see it on film. I hate watching Marvin Harrison Jr. film. I love watching his pass catching stuff, but as far as run blocking, there's many times that Marvin Harrison Jr., as soon as the ball stops, he just looks at the guy. He ain't doing shit.
Yeah, I hate that shit, bro. I hate that shit when people
I hate it too.
So like, okay, with that, I definitely, agree to a degree. Like I've always said, it's more technique based, right? With him, it's more like and you can see it, and this might play into some things like that, because I've said like sometimes his arms get too wide. You could tell he doesn't take the right angle sometimes, but maybe it's because he's tired, right? So the things you're looking at, I'm like, okay, that is it. In the frame, I say sometimes because he's 5'8", you feel me? Like how much is he gonna do that there? And it's never been about the talent, right? It's always just been about, if I got to take you out in certain areas and certain spots, and we know Chip Kelly doesn't really like to give no running back 30 carries or whatever, why am I taking a running back at 6 when that value doesn't make any sense, right? That shit don't make any sense to do that, bro. It's like,
look at the defenses that you're going to go against. Like the Broncos just beefed the fuck out of their defense.
Oh, yeah.
The Chiefs got a badass defense as far as the run game is concerned. Like, no, it's not going to be a good time for Genty. Like, he's going to be looked at as a bust if he gets drafted to the Raiders.
100%.
And it's just been because of the situation. And that's going to be really, really sad.
Again, bro, it's not the player, because you have to put like a fucking.
So Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
Ryan Leaf went to the wrong situation. I'll always say this.
Okay.
I think he went to the wrong situation for the Chargers because they didn't have shit there until later. So
right.
Say what you want, but this is I'll tell you this, Rundown. Like a lot of people on my channel agree with this now that they see the thought process. And I said this. A lot of teams tank their whole year to draft the quarterback that they think they need in their first round when they should have picked somebody else. The second round should be dedicated to quarterbacks, and that's the only round that they can be drafted in from there on out. No quarterback should be chosen in the first round. The amount of teams that could change their teams around just off of that strategy will be enormous. The number one pick is too important just to take your whole team for a quarterback.
Can't do that, bro.
We've seen how many times has the Browns have drafted how many quarterbacks back then? And it's not because these dudes were ass. Let's be honest here. These guys were not bad players. They went there and their career died because they banked every first round pick for fucking 4 years straight.
Just situation.
And they didn't want to build around.
And I agree with that fully, bro. I've said this 100 times. Like, we're not at the position to take the man, right? We're just not there, bro. Now, if he went to the Bears, so be it. Look what they did, right? Look at the offensive line. They got a quarterback. It's all there. Like, sure, if that's what you want to say, if he wants to go top 10, let him go to the Bears, whatever the case. I just think we need more. And again, I just see it. Maybe it's my running back PTSD, bro. But if we take Genty, I can see, like I said earlier, by week 7 or 8, I see defenses saying, "Yeah, bro, you're not gonna have him no more. It's over." That's it.
I'll give you what everybody should be thinking about right here. You have the next Travis Kelce in your division.
Oh yeah.
And Brock Bowers had his best games against your opponents last year. Your division cannot deal with and Quentin Johnson could be that guy, but he can't fucking catch. How many times has Justin Herbert thrown him a wide open ass pass because he got open and he drops that bitch?
It's Thank God they didn't take Brock Bowers. Because they was
I thought they were going to. I was like, it's over.
We would have been fucked off, bro. We would have been killed. It would have been over.
So the AFC West has bad times against very athletic tight ends and tall receivers. You go get T-Mac and you rule the world.
Yes. Yeah. It is a thing, bro. Like the AFC West has always had good tight ends. Always. Right? Like Denver had Shannon. But other than Shannon, they had another guy for a time. We had Waller. Chargers had Antonio Gates and, Chiefs got Kelsey, Tony Gonzalez, bro. Like their list goes on and on. So you are completely right, bro. If we get T-Mac, I think it works. Another guy I like, Mason Graham. Right? And that's luxury for me because we really don't need Mason Graham, like quote unquote need, but what he brings and what he would bring, especially I've said it multiple times, bro. Like there's very minimal times he's going to get double teamed with this D line. Minimal.
And the thing about Mason Graham that like I'm starting to come around to is like the generational talk in my mind. I try not to use that too lightly because it's like,
I stay away from the word. Stay away from the word.
And I've been right for the most part these last couple of years, like, and it's just because the film says everything. But the one thing that I underestimated about Mason Graham's tape, and I watched a lot last night after after we had talked about it, I'm like, whose film can I bring out that maybe would seem right for the Raiders? And I went back and I watched 2 more games of Mason Graham, and I was like, my goodness, he plays all over the D line. So why wouldn't this be a good? I was against him going to the Raiders, but I'm like, him and Max Crosby on one side of the field with Christian Wilkins on the other side of Mason, they completely shut down one side of the field. And Mason is a great, like when I say high motor, go after a running back after I disengage off a block, like he plays the run really, really well. I don't see the hype on Kendall Grant. I'll say that till the wheels fucking fall off. Him and Jahai Campbell are 2 of the most overhyped prospects in this fucking draft. I don't.
And we're gonna talk about Jahai because I've had some people on there. Like, there's some things I like, but then I like, of course, because since we talked, I had to go back and I had to be like,
he's an edge rusher. He's not a linebacker.
There's some things that I did see that we do gotta talk about. But off Mason, bro, it's a cheat code for the D line with what we would have, dog. I mean, Adam Butler, we just resigned. I like him at a rotational role. We hope Malcolm Kuntz gets back to them 8 games we saw. And if that shit happens, dog, this D-line is top 5, no doubt. Top 5, if we get Mason Graham.
I'll tell you a little cheat code to Mason that really impressed me. And I get so in depth with this stuff, even outside of film. Like, I want to get to know the players and what they're doing in the offseason. Right. There's a place called Exos down in Arizona that a lot of athletes go and train at. Will
Johnson there. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Will Johnson, T-Mac, and a couple other guys, Maxwell Harrison. Like, these are fast guys that are going to go train down there. Guess who's the only D lineman down there training with them?
Mason Graham. Big Mace.
I was like, that's a feather in your cap, young man. I ain't even going to lie.
Yeah. Bro, I think, I just think, bro, there's no way you pass him up, right? There's no way you pass him up if he's there. He changes the fortune. And I said it already, bro. You take him, Patrick Mahomes gonna wake up in the cold sweat on Friday morning, and be like, God damn, especially with what they lost on the offensive line with Tooney going to the Bears and all this extra, bro. It's like, we'll be a problem. So getting into it, bro. So what are some of the prospects that we're gonna talk about? What's some of the film that we have? We can start with Jihad if you want to start with Jihad, because I'm cool with that. Because I watched a little bit. I'm fresh on that.
Yeah. If you can full screen me, I think I can get this to work right.
100%. Let me see what's going on. Boom. Yes, sir. All right. Boom.
Cool. Is there a way to put your camera on there too?
Oh no, you good, bro. Shit, they see me all the goddamn time. Shit, we straight.
All right, let's see. Let me go to my folder here. So, couple things. I like to educate as I'm talking too. So for those that don't know, I went through the NFL scouting program before. My history, I coached for 4.5 years, primarily quarterbacks. I played quarterback and safety in high school. I've been playing since I was like 4 years old or something like that. My dad was a collegiate punter for North Carolina Central. So I've always been around football, in depth. The one thing that I tell people from my aspect is to properly watch film. To me, this is just my opinion, and from what I've learned, I kind of came up with my own formula. First thing that you want to watch is the best statistical game that they had. Of course, you want to have a baseline for how good that they can be. Then you want to watch their worst statistical game. The reason why is you can always see the good in whatever a player is trying to do. And it's easy to point the finger at everybody else that's not performing if they're playing great. Or, you can kind of see the thought process. Then you want to see a game from last year. So you want to see where they progress from their previous year to where they are now. There should be a slight jump to what they have been doing if they were great the previous year. And then you want to watch a game against the best, regardless of what their position is. So in this case, it's Jihad. You want to see the best offensive team that they played as far as, statistic perspective to his position. So the reason why I picked the Tennessee game is because Dylan Sampson and our O-line were the best in the SEC last year.
Okay, yeah, you did. You brought up Dylan Sampson. Okay.
So a couple tips when you watch film, and you can tell how a player should perform in the first 5 snaps. And if you're not impressed in the first 5 snaps that they're actually, involved in, right? Like
that's real deal. That's real deal. That's real deal.
If Jalen Milroe's handing the ball off 3 times in a row, you're not gonna put that.
Yeah, I don't care about that, bro. I think that's why safety film be so goddamn hard to watch too, because they don't be doing shit for real.
That is the roughest one to watch. I definitely agree with you there. And then you want to see how well like they actually start the game, because it churns them for the rest of the game. I don't like watching players that got hot at the end of the game. I don't care. Why didn't you do what you did from the beginning to the end?
Why we ain't started off like that, man?
Because in the NFL, you know what they're going to do? As soon as you get zeroed out at the beginning of the game, there's no catching up at the end. You're just going to suck the whole time. They're going to ruin your mental. And do they use their full arsenal of their ability? Like, if you're this highly touted prospect, you should be fast. You should have the physical tools. You should have all this stuff. Like we're talking about college. One thing that I consider as well. Sorry, I'm going on this deep monologue, but
this is good content, bro. Let's go.
Vision matters to me for a player, regardless of what it is. And not having vision can ruin what your physical gifts give you, right? So, for example, if I'm watching Jihad Campbell, if he's engaging with the blocker and then trying to disengage, you just ruined yourself from making a good play. Like, where's your vision to stay patient and see where that guy is? That's why, like, I compare every linebacker film up against Edgerrin Cooper's film from last year. That shit was flawless against Alabama, and that was the best film probably that I've ever watched. I was so impressed by him last year.
And real quick, not even to cut you off, bro, but that's something I put in my notes right here. We talking about Jihad, bro. Like, he got to work on POC, bro. Like, his point of contact is bad to me, bro. Like, I don't think he takes. Well, he don't take on blockers. He lets the blockers come to him and shit. And I'm like, bro, we can't be doing that. Not in a linebacker position like this, bro.
Yeah, for sure. I would do a little research on the game plan and the scheme that they play in from,
Okay.
the defensive position now. Obviously they're playing in a 3-3-4-5, or I'm sorry, 4-2-5 here.
Mm-hmm.
As far as their defensive scheme, so understanding what that brings and where the weaknesses are and how he elevates that defense, because that's super important.
Right.
And understand this, because I think a lot of people confuse this. Just because a player makes a big play sometimes doesn't make them a great player. Let me
No,
say
that's
that
true.
again. Just because they
100%.
make great plays sometimes does not make them a good player. So the reason why I always like to pull out the first 5 snaps of a player is I want to see how consistent that they are right off the gate. Because great players are great right out the gate. I don't necessarily do this for NFL. I do this for college, because you should be able to take advantage of your opponent and see where they are. So here's the
Right.
first 5 snaps of Jahai Campbell, and y'all tell me what y'all feel about this.
All right, run
Because this,
down, fam. We gonna watch, man. You know what we do, man. We watch critically. Let's see what we got.
so engage the blocker for no reason, engage Dylan
Right.
Sampson,
Didn't need to.
and jumped late. I would have jumped right in his way as a linebacker here and blocked his vision from throwing the ball. The worst thing that you can do is allow for a confident open window pass from a quarterback. What if this was caught?
Right. And for me, I'm gonna be honest. Like I know Dylan Sampson, he's not the biggest guy. I would like to see more aggressiveness going towards him too, bro. I mean, I feel like it wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be, especially when we talking about some of that edge ability that he has. I mean, I wouldn't take him on like that. For me, I would expect him to go ahead and shove his ass to the side. If that's me, if I'm talking about like being one of these guys, like being one of them guys. Yeah, I want you to shove that running back to the fucking side, bro, and get to the goddamn, especially if it's 1-on-1. No way he should be doing that to you.
Yeah, there's no way that like your first play of the game is like, I mean, look at his movement here. It's like you're not playing basketball. Edge rushers or linebackers, you usually just take an angle and you blow this guy up. What
Yeah,
are you
hell
trying?
yeah.
What are you trying to do? Cross over on Dylan Sampson? Like, you
That's
are
a
in the
fact,
wrong
bro.
sport.
Especially if you know you have the more athletic stature, the bigger stature, bro. You just run this motherfucker over, bro. Get to the quarterback and let's get going at that point.
Yeah. Either to me, it's like you either bend this edge here
Mm-hmm.
or blow
Mm-hmm.
him up this way. Because Dylan,
Exactly.
this is a running back.
Yeah.
I mean, Dylan Sampson's a pretty good pass blocker, but let's be honest, bro. You're about 2 times his size.
Exactly.
And you're
Exactly.
and if you're not gonna do that, at least put 2 hands up right here.
Yeah.
I'm hopping right here because you can already see Nico. He's looking towards that way.
Oh, yeah.
You could have disrupted this pass. I mean, you got lucky that it was an incompletion, but that's just one of the things that I see right there. I'm not gonna hold that too much against him. That was a first snap.
No. But we got to talk critically. Look what it is.
Yes, and I think this was the second snap of the game here. Actually,
Okay.
these might be a little bit out of order, but it is what it is. These are our first 5 snaps.
Right.
So again, you're just engaging the blocker for no reason.
Yeah, bro.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, that was the same play.
Okay, I'm about to say.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
All right, where was he at here?
I think I see him down there.
Yeah, he's right. He's right here.
Uh-huh. Let me see what we got.
Again, engaging the blocker. Dylan Sampson is trying to get to the inside here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's I forget what that kid's name is. But I mean, you're getting manhandled by the tackle the whole time. Watch it from this view.
The back view. Yeah, this is where we can see from for sure. See that. Engage, dog. Get in there.
Well, the thing is, it's like there's a pulling guard here. And why are you engaging so far on their offensive line? You just gave yourself up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great team effort here, but I wouldn't say that this was before, because of Jahai Campbell. He got taken out the play like he was supposed to. This is exactly how they drew this up.
If your boy doesn't come off the other side right here scraping, bro, it's a bigger play.
Yeah, the tackle pulled, the guard comes up and takes care of the linebacker here. and 74 engaged. This is exactly how they drew it up to happen. Except,
man, if 70 walled your boy off, it's over. That's a good answer.
Yeah, this would have been at least 40 yards because I don't think Malachi Moore was coming up there at number 13. He was coming up there to tackle Dylan Sampson that fast.
Yeah. And Loso, the thing we looking at too, bro, the thing we looking at too is the point of contact and as it's relative to the league, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Like the way he's taking on this point of contact with these blockers, that shit's not gonna work with a better tackle, NFL tackle. It's not gonna work. They're gonna wash his ass out just like they did.
I look at it like this. Why is he down this far? I'm gonna tell you the difference between Jahai Campbell and Edgerrin Cooper. Edgerrin Cooper still would have been back here using the strafe both ways like this to figure out where Dylan Sampson was. Don't engage yourself with these blockers. This linebacker had no choice. 70 was coming up to get his ass anyways.
Right.
And he peeled off. This was a more impressive by him. Look, Jahai Campbell is getting taken on a fucking all expenses paid vacation right now.
Shit.
Like this is just embarrassing. Like to me, I don't like that snap at all. I think the third snap here. I can't really tell where was he at.
I see where he is over there.
I think this is him, right?
Yeah, over there at the top. Mm-hmm.
So you're reading a run, and you read it how do you read this the wrong way? He's taking an inside zone. As soon as he steps up here, and you see Nico look that way, these are the things that we get talked about, right? As a quarterback. Right. Try not to sell exactly where the run is going on the inside zone play.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it. Look at the helmet stripe. It's already that way. Dylan's taking this. And how is he this lazy? Now look how long it took them to get to Dylan when he could have came in here and secured this. I mean, your teammate makes a fumble on the play. Thank God.
Yeah.
But like, let's say that Dylan was to take this to the outside. You gave no effort to get in here. I cannot stand dudes that do not give effort their full way. You're just jogging on the field. You're a linebacker, bro.
Right.
But then you see other plays where he's darting towards the field. This is 3 plays.
That's what everybody's showing.
This is three of his plays in a row, inconsistent on the same drive. The last play here.
Right. And what game of the year is this? What week? Is this early in the season or is this later in the season?
I can't remember. Let me see. I believe this was in the middle of the season. I think this is like week 4, I believe.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Because if we sitting here this week, 9, whatever it is for, I mean, college, I don't know how college work, but if this later on in the season, this is very concerning film, right?
It's like, week 7. It's directly in the middle, and they lost this game.
Yeah. I ain't like those last 3. Last 3, I ain't like.
Now that I hate this play. Let's see if I can get the other view. I hate this play from him, and he's right here on the top of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
He lets the blocker just come to him. It's like he didn't see it. He's so focused on getting the running back, noticing that your teammate is getting double teamed, and that number 70 could peel off at any time. And he did. Bam, took him out the play. Again, another great defensive play by 22. But where's Jihad at?
Right.
I just don't understand the thought process here. He's so worried about making the play in the backfield that you get blindsided and blown the fuck up from number 70.
And is that some of that, like, he doesn't have the natural linebacker instincts? Because I know he did play edge before, right? And I know he didn't even really play like that before this year. So then it's like, is some of that getting the feel of it, trying to understand some of the instinctual parts of it?
It is, and I don't think he's as instinctual to play linebacker because, again, why engage here? Your teammates on a double team, and they teach you this on defense. You see a double team on your teammate, this guy's got eyes on the side of his head, ready to come to you.
Oh, 100%.
That's exactly what happened, and this is why they were so good at running the ball last year. I mean, this play got blown up. You're gonna have a play that happens like this every once in a while in the game, especially for a good team. But like this should have been a tackle in the backfield for
Oh
Jahad
man,
Campbell.
yeah, 100%. Shoot that gap, bro. He's got to shoot that gap and be confident in what he sees, bro. All that engaging shit is slowing him down.
You draft Jahad Campbell for his 20 quarterback pressures. I agree. I think he's an edge rusher. He's not.
Yeah.
He needs to be one dimensional on what he does. Bend the edge and get to the quarterback. If he
now,
just like I felt this way about Joe Alt last year, right? People love Joe Alt at left tackle. You can go back and watch this before he got drafted, before anybody said this. It's documented. I said, I don't like Joe Alt at left tackle. I think he's a right tackle in the league because he doesn't know how to deal with front side gap blower uppers. Like he's not good at peeling inside and helping out with that guy, but he's more so. I think he's left-handed too, so he's more so blocking the gap on his stronger side, which would be his left arm. He just favored that side even in blocking schemes. Guess what he plays now and at a high level?
Right tackle.
Right tackle.
Play that right tackle. Now, for me, it's like I do like it because when I did see him at edge, he had some good clips at edge. Like his bend is nasty. His bend is nasty. So and he's only 21. So it's like if you choose which one he's gonna do, I do think if it's edge, he can be good. He's got to put some size on though if he's gonna do that shit though.
Yeah, and I mean, just from these 4 clips, I'm like, okay.
Right.
I don't see what everybody sees in Jahad Campbell. I mean, I watch a lot of his film and it's kind of like this. You know, I would say I like the fact that he plays with his teammates, that he's not trying to go off on his own and do his own thing. I mean, I guess that's a positive, but I mean, stuff like this is like they teach you this back in high school. Like, they don't get surprised by a double team because that guy could come up and get you. And he again,
right.
This is like literally embarrassing.
Now, seeing it from the top view, right? You look and you're like, dog, if you just straddle the line like you was talking about before with that little line right there, now you don't have to engage with the blocker, bro. Or either you're coming in and you fucker, or you're stretching him to the side like there, right? Because we all know as running backs, bro, it's like if you see a different color jersey, some more than not, most running backs are gonna bounce that motherfucker. He's gonna try to go somewhere else because I see another color. Right. So it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, bro, you can either stretch it out or you got to shoot that motherfucker. But it just looks like he's indecisive. Like he don't know what he wants to do, like you were saying.
Again, I think they like him at linebacker because he has the instincts of like, I'm gonna go make a play. Right. But Roquan Smith and those guys will tell you, like, sometimes you got to play as a team and crash the gap when you don't need to, or when you don't want to, because it helps everybody else out on the team. Like the linebacker position is one of the most thankless positions in football, like, to be honest. And it's like he wants to be an edge rusher. You know what I'm saying? Even on this, it's like, I want to get in the backfield. Not necessarily, bro. A tackle at the line of scrimmage is just as good.
Yeah. And hell yeah.
100%. That should be your mindset, especially I mean, they had, I think this was a second down play where they still had 10 yards to go. Like, I don't understand what the rush was there. So yeah, that was his film, man. I do have a couple others. Did you want to see somebody else?
Yeah. Who else we gonna bring up? But hey, make sure before we do that, make sure everybody is going over to our guys' channel, man, and hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, bro. Y'all get content like this over there all the time, bro. So we trying to do something a little different over here, but make sure you guys go over there, man, and support. You know, always support everybody that's showing good ball, man. So okay, so that's Jahad Campbell. For me, you know, everybody looks at his LSU game, and then you look at the goddamn what he did against Georgia, and you see the potential, right? Because you know, you see him intercept the ball, and you see him cause a fumble and do all these things at the edge rusher position, and he's playing all three, and he's doing all that. But it's like, again, we got to be consistent with it, and that's something. And he was never a guy I said we got to take it 6, but it's like maybe if the Raiders were able to trade down and then acquire somebody like him, I'd be like, that's a little better. Right, instead of saying like, "Oh, we just straight up took this motherfucker at 6." Like, I think that's rich, bro.
I think he's a solid, like, 3rd round pick, and that's nothing to scoff at. I think he's super talented. I just don't think like he's a 1st round guy, like, or even the beginning of a 2nd round guy. You know, if somebody took him late in the 2nd, I'd be like, all right, I see what you're trying to do. But yeah, him and Kendrick Grant, I just struggled to be like, why are they so highly touted? I don't see it. I've never saw it. And I see like just Alabama was a good team up front all together. I mean, yeah, does he drop back in coverage? Is he real quick? Yeah, but this is the struggle I have with everybody that watches film. I pull out a full game and we watch the whole game together, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys that you see on social media or on other YouTube channels, they pick and choose the games that they want to see. So they're painting a false narrative. Like, it's not realistic. You need to see the full body of work. I'm not asking a guy to be in there, the full time, 90% of the time making amazing plays. If this was a player out there, they'd be drafted first overall, every single one of them. Not everybody has cool and clean film like that. It's not a possibility. You have to when it's given to you, you have to take it. And that's what I'm asking Jahad Campbell to do. Is simply is like, if the play was in front of you, why didn't you just take it, man? Like, instead, you're so worried about making the play and making it in the backfield and getting that tackle for loss on your stat sheet instead of just getting the tackle.
Yeah. So it's like, that's some of that maybe, and I can see where people go where they're saying, okay, 21 years old, barely in the NFL frame, NFL body. We get him in this system. He's going to do better, blah, blah, blah. So that's where you start seeing that. But then it's like, now we start projecting off the traits and what he has and what he can do. So I see that. Jalen Walker is another one of my guys. I like Jalen Walker, bro. I don't know why, but
Jalen Walker's my number 2 linebacker.
He makes plays, dog. Like, it's just, he a football player, bro. It's hard to describe it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like sometimes, bro, this motherfucker just plays ball, bro. And he's gonna make a play. That's just what it is.
I feel that same way too.
I think, bro.
I think Jalen Walker, he's my number 2 on my board. And if somebody picked him in the first round, I'd be like, I think you getting a beast for the next 10 years.
I've said this here, bro. I've said this here multiple times. I'm like, I can see Pete Carroll watching Jalen Walker and saying, I like this motherfucker right here. I can see it 100% because he brings. Oh yeah, bro. But we ain't got none of that. But what's the next player though that we do have on the docket that we did want to watch? Now, I've talked about Jalen Walker a lot on this show, so everybody already know. But what's the next player I think that we did have on the docket? What was the next one? Was it cornerback? Cornerback, right? I don't know if we had that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, this is something that I've talked about ad nauseum, and then I'm gonna put you on the screen, right? A lot of people like Will Johnson, and I do get that. And that he is a shutdown corner, but to me, it's like we don't have no nickel. We lost Nate Hobbs, and we lost that, right? We don't have that shit no more. Now we're gonna see him play primarily here, maybe outside. I think that might be the film you have, but I think he could come into the league and be a nickel guy, bro. I really do think he can be a nickel guy and be a high impact nickel guy. I mean, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you take it off, man. Let them show what you show. And then some Raider fans don't even know what's up with Jahad, man. So educate them.
Yeah, Jahdae Barron is a beast, man. Him and Makumba, who's a safety right here.
Yeah, I think he's at the Exos thing too, correct? I think he over there with them.
He's there
with Will Johnson.
Yeah, he's there too, and I think he's about to enter my top 5 safeties. The more and more I watch him, I'm like, he's incredible.
Yeah, Makuba's real.
Yeah, Makuba's he's a dog. Same with Jahdae Barron. I mean, they're Jim Thorpe Award winner, and rightfully so. I personally think he could be otherworldly, man. He's aggressive.
I like this dude.
And just watch him stay with the route here. And now this pass could have been a completion, but more so, this is the first rep of the game. I believe. Hold on.
Is that Arian Smith too?
I think that Aaron Smith is over here.
He's over there? Okay.
Yeah. This is Dylan Bell, and I forget who 86 is, but they all got speedsters at Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
But he would have made a play. He just ended up dropping it. The pass was a little bit behind him. I just like the fact that his get up speed, he took a sharp angle here, right? Which I guess you could say, he was a little bit too far back off this route. But I look for the fact that this is a closing speed. I like it. Your corners are not going to win every single matchup, but it was an incomplete pass. So
And if he tightens that up, right? If he tightens that up with that terrible pass, now we talking about getting your hands on the football now instead of just breaking it up. If he tightens that little path up right there.
Yep, exactly. Here's the next one. This is the next play after. Now he's playing in the box now. So
there we go.
A little bit of that. Gets up. Doesn't give up on the play. See, he's still moving, trying to find the guy. Comes in for the tackle. So I love this out of him because of the simple fact is we're not going to give up on the play, and we're going to make a play. I'm playing in the box, and he's on the other side of the hash mark. Now, college hash marks are a lot wider than the NFL. So, meaning that when you're looking at this, let me pull out my little marker here. When you're looking at this, a team could be lined up over here, and they got all this field to work through.
Yeah.
In the NFL, the hash marks are like this short. So if you're lined up here, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
It's still like almost the same amount of ground. So it makes it more difficult for teams to get as open as they are. So of course, Carson Beck is going to take this pass over here because look how much green grass he got thrown to.
Mad grass to cover.
So you got our guy right here, and he comes in and makes a tackle. They only get 5 yards off this play. Nobody expected him to come from this hash mark to dive all the way over here.
He moving too.
Yeah. Again, effort. That's one thing that I like to see on film. Another thing I like to see is when they're in frame of the play. Like even if he was right here, I'd be like, wow, he came from this hash mark. So he's going to give you all the effort, as possible to make the play. So I love this setup. So right now he's seen a little bit of consistency. Like he responded back from almost allowing a catch, came in, played in the box, and now we got him lined up here in a deep zone. 86 again, and see how tight he stayed with him.
There you go.
Watch our guy in this area, which is Makuba. Stayed so tight with his man. I'm sorry, not up here, right down here. Stayed so tight with his man that Carson Beck forced the ball in, and Makuba came up and intercepted the bitch.
God damn, what a play, dog. I think I remember watching this live, but just seeing him do that shit is crazy.
Yep. Again, he's staying with this guy so tight, running this post.
Oh, yeah.
Comes up,
know where you can go. Know where you can go.
Again, influencing your teammates because you did your job, which is it's not the sexiest thing on film, but when you look at this, it's like you eliminated your guy on the field, which allowed the rest of your teammates to come up and make an amazing play. Again, in a scout's mind, that is a huge check mark for
that's
him.
A dub. That's a dub.
Yeah. So you saw a bad play. You saw what could be considered a bad play. You saw the positive in the bad plays that he honed in on this guy after the fact, so he wasn't going to get any further. Played in the box, made a good play there on the tackle, locked up his guy. Okay, we're cooking right now. The consistency, we're really cooking. Go to the fourth play. Dropping back in a deep zone again. Gets off his tackle, comes up and helps his teammate. I don't care that he wasn't the original guy to make the tackle. What I'm looking at is his eyes are on the play. Look at the way he squares up. Gets his guy off of him. And he's wants to get in there and help his teammate to make sure.
I was gonna say, and don't shy away from the contact. You watch a lot of corner film. You watch just like corners in general. Some of them might get the little bump from the receiver and not really get in there on the ground and shit like that. We see it all the time.
It's not the sexiest play, but again, in the effort category, I want this guy on my team because he's not going to stray away from contact and helping his team out. The more men that we have on this guy. Because Travis Etienne has been known to break tackles on people. Let's be honest. All he had to do was run Makuba over right here, and then it would have been daylight for him, most likely. But the fact that he came up and helped this guy out, I love that shit. It's that no give up attitude. That's 4 plays in a row. We had 3 out of the 4. That's good.
Yeah.
And this is again locks up his guy.
Good trail.
And pushes him right in the middle of the field. Yeah, into the zone. Again, not the sexiest play, but his linebacker was supposed to be there, and he understood that if anybody comes to the outside, I got him. I'm watching the ball. I just, it's an okay play. but he did what he was supposed to do, was to force him to that linebacker, throw him off his route.
Exactly.
That's all he needed to do. Throw him off his route. He was supposed to cut way sooner than he did because of that.
Because there's enough time back there for Carson, if he wanted to fuck around and flip his head back and find your boy in the middle of the field. Carson Beck to me is booty. I don't like Carson Beck.
Oh, you don't like Carson? I love Carson Beck.
You know why? You know what got me, bro? It was because most people, it was the debate earlier on in the season with, oh, he's better than Shedeur. And you know, if you're a Shedeur fan, they just talking shit to you to get on your nerves. So then it's like, at that point, bro, I started warring with people. That's some of it. I will be honest.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I think Carson is a really good quarterback, man.
You think he's gonna do good in Miami this year? Kind of off base.
Let's put it like this: if he had the weapons that Cam had this year, they would have won the ACC championship and been in the college football playoff.
Okay, I hope he does good, bro. I mean, he went back and to get that draft stock good and shit like that, man. I hope he redeems himself.
Yeah. Those are the 5 plays right there from Jade Barron. So there's a lot to like. I mean, safety and corner film are always hard to watch, but if you're talking about the consistency of a player, he's definitely got that for you for sure.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, again, I know we saw him play on the outside there, but I just think he can play some nickel. I think he'll be very good if he goes in there and does that. I mean, I think his ball skills are crazy. There are multiple times where you think the receiver has the ball, and the last second him over just punches it out right at the last second. He does that multiple times, bro. So it's like
him and Makuba, they're beasts, bro. And then also Michael Taft, who's the white boy that wears 16. He plays safety too. Michael Taft is going to be amazing. I became a big fan after watching film on him. Man.
They had some guys in the secondary, bro. They had some guys.
Actually, him and Kate Klubnik played for the same school when they were in Texas. Actually, they were the rivals against Quinn Ewers' team when they were down there, and now Quinn Ewers and him played on the same team together. This is crazy. He switched sides.
Crazy. Man, I should have had y'all. I should have said Trey Amos too, because that was another guy. But
I haven't done my homework on Trey Amos yet. So
okay. So we gotta do that a little bit. Let you do that. I gotta do some more too. But I just like his length. I just think the length that he has with Pete Carroll, the way they look at that might work. Okay, so we watched Jade Barron. That's another need, right? We just watched 2 needs. So we had linebackers, we had corners for all my rundown fam. Y'all know what time it is. But the next need that we do have to look at here, and we're gonna save one of the ones for later, bro. We talking quarterbacks. I'm gonna let y'all guess which quarterback we watching. I don't know who gonna guess, but we're gonna see. So the next need, this isn't really a need, but I just like watching people fuck shit up. Mason Graham, right? If you got Mason Graham, bro, I just need to see it for my soul, dog. Like just for my football soul. When I watch him, dog, he does filthy things to offensive linemen. I just need to see it.
Yeah, he's a beast too. Let me see if I got any. Yeah, I got some Mason Graham for your ass.
Hey, dog, come on now. Hey, everybody be like, some people, why are you taking Mason? Why would you take Mason? Come on now. Let's play it for him now. Let's get him educated.
The little things that Mason does to me is what makes him great. And he plays all over the field. So he's 55 right here. This is Kenneth Grant. And this is against Texas, who had one of the best offensive lines in the country. Look how I just want people to focus in. He's focusing this dude off of the block to come in and try to make a play just in case this inside zone had happened.
Yeah, right. Now we understand everybody, because somebody's gonna comment it. Oh, but it was a pass. Understand, bro. If your man hands that ball off, that running back is lunch meat. It's over.
Yep. And look at Cameron Williams locking up Kenneth Grant over there. His ass wasn't going nowhere. I can't stand this dude, man, of how much hype he gets.
Well, I know one of your followers came in here and said, pull up some film of your favorite player.
He's trolling. Dylan knows I can't stand this motherfucker. We got Mason Graham over here, Kenneth Grant on the right side of him. See, I like the fact that they are versatile. They can play anywhere to switch it up.
Right.
All right. Now this is a screen pass. But look at this dude, just one arm 65 and get the bend on him. And then gets chipped by, I believe Jaden Blue comes up and chips him. That's the only thing
it's supposed to be a cross screen. Bro. You fucked that bitch up. Okay. I see what you said. I see what you said.
Yep. It's like it's crazy work. Now look at Kendrick Grant get taken for a ride.
Oh yeah. Your boy, that's a whole. He killed the whole play. First of all, blowing up the guard farther in the backfield than he should be, or with that little one arm stab. But getting that running back right there, bro, that should kill the whole play, bro. Killed it all off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I mean,
God.
Jaden Blue couldn't. Look, you got Jaden Blue's name tag the same way as you're running.
Quinn just got to get rid of that. Yeah, you got to get rid of that.
And I want to point out something, man. This kid right here, Josiah Stewart, might be a small guy, but I think he's one of the best edge rushers in this class.
Really?
If you're going to talk about two players on his defense, outside of Will Johnson for sure, it's Mason Graham and him on the same side. I mean, look at this. It's poetry in motion, man.
That's why I love watching D-line film. Like, for me, bro, like, D-line film don't require so much. It's like, are you fucking shit up or are you not? Like, it's pretty simple at this point.
Yeah. And again, all of these plays are in a row, right? So
right.
Of that he was involved in. Some of the times he was taken out for a couple plays. So
see, these are plays in a row, ladies and gentlemen. See, and again, because some people might not have been paying attention. Gotta understand, bro. When you watching this shit, you want to see what he does consistently on each play, like our guy Dante was saying, bro. He's consistently causing disruption. You feel what I'm saying? Like, these are 3 plays in a row where he's forcing the quarterback to get this shit out of his hands.
Easy way to read defensive line play if you don't know bear front, 42 defense, all that shit. Like, I'm not getting into all the X's and O's with you, but it's an easy way to tell dominance of a defensive lineman.
Right.
I'm going to just simulate where the hash mark is. And you tell me, we're going to see how far away he steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Jesus.
Mason Graham pushed him 6 hash marks away from where he originally was.
That's that shit right there, bro.
5 or 6 hash marks back, that's nasty work.
Oh yeah. Because again, bro, we're causing disruption. We're causing timing to be fucked off now. Because now it's like, I gotta get the ball out of my hands, bro. There's no way I can sit here and pat that ball. And you already know, like, shit, when I see this different color in my face, bro, I gotta get this shit out of my hands, bro.
Yep. And another thing that I want to point out is the way that he utilizes his left hand, which is not his dominant hand. I know he's right hand dominant. Puts that in his chest and watch his right hand dips right under.
Good swipe and dip. I like that, bro.
Yep. Because he's forcing his hands to come on his left shoulder, right?
Right.
So he's forcing his hands to come here, which then he can dip around and kind of manipulate his body. Because if a guy's got both of your arms, he can manipulate wherever you want to go. So that's why this guy was having a tough time against him. He couldn't get a good grip on him.
See, and people worry about his length, right? Like, they like, oh, he's shorter. He got short arms. But like, when I watch him, bro, it's like, you feeling like that shit doesn't matter when I watch him. He's doing what he's supposed to do.
And these are all NFL offensive linemen. They just are.
This is Texas, bro. Texas got some guys.
Texas is going to have 3 guys drafted this year. Jake Majors, Cameron Williams, and probably the best tackle in the class, and Kelvin Banks.
Yep.
So, I mean, and look what he does to old Jake Majors here. Gets all up in his grill. He doesn't.
And that ain't, that ain't him. Because, I mean, you got to get the edge on this one. But he's fucking. He's doing his job. I'll tell you that. He's doing his job.
He makes the offensive linemen look how low Jake Majors got as far as pad level, which is great where he's got it. But Mason pushes his ass back up.
I love that.
Wipes him out the way and drives him.
It's so remedial, bro. Like, when people don't really look at it, but it's like, dog, like, the pad level is so important with some of these people, dog. And it irks me when you watch D-line and they stand straight the fuck up. It's like, God damn, bro. Like, it's like you're losing all your leverage.
Yeah, he forced him to stand straight up. It's crazy.
Yep.
All right, next one up here. He's playing on the edge now with Josiah Stewart. And I think this is play number 5.
Okay. Yep.
Hold on one second. What was on there? Oh, just peanut butter. No, there was like a white something. Was that gum? No. No, it was one of those little treats. Sorry.
Nah, you good.
The
You good. You good.
little rice cake things. I put no gum on there. My dog likes to come in and lick off the plate of everything.
Oh, trust me, bro. I got dogs, a baby. You all good,
shit. So this was crazy to have him playing like the run game here. So this is not the run game, but the screen pass. Gets out, comes up, and still plays a run.
Woo! Out the stairs with it.
Look on the other hash mark too. We're talking about linebackers doing this. Jahad Campbell is supposed to be doing shit like this. He engaged the block, got off a block, and still came up and helped his team. And took a good angle.
Yes. Come on, dog.
Fucking head off.
To me, bro, I think people start overthinking these prospects. Right? To me, as you start overthinking these prospects, and all of a sudden they're not as good as they once were. In the fall, we said they're different things. Like this dude right here, bro. Every time I watch him. I'm like, he's causing havoc. He's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah. So those are 5 plays in a row of Mason Graham. Shows you right there, like some people's film is just a lot cleaner than others, and he starts out the gate with, with everything that he can do on the field. So
against good competition, nonetheless. You know what I mean?
And you've seen him line up all over the defensive line.
But that's 2 straight players, right? We just watched. Jahdae Barron did the same thing where if you weren't paying attention, this motherfucker just had 3 different spots that he just lined up in. Now we just watched Mason Graham. That's all over the defensive line. Now I think you can watch that. That doesn't show the full array, but that's a little sample size of what you say. Like, bro, if the Raiders take him, there's unlimited potential of what they be able to do with that D line. Can you imagine? You talking about him and Josiah Stewart? Shit, put him next to Max, and then put Christian Wilkins right next to it. It's over, dog. It's fucking over. There's nothing that somebody can tell me.
And that last rep was against Kelvin Banks.
There we go.
You feel what I'm saying? You want somebody that's equal on the other side, it's Kelvin Banks.
Come on, bro. Like I think that's the pick for me. But now we go some other places, right? These are more late round guys, right? These are more late round guys. So we watched Jahad, we watched Jihad, and then we watched Mason Graham. Now we kind of go to the offensive side of the ball. We got running backs, right? That we got on the docket. Let's get the running backs on here real quick. Now, I know you said you wasn't a fan, so we'll start with him. Caleb Johnson, right? Well, Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, I can't stand this dude.
let's see some of it right here. Now, I do think, some of the blocking not concerns, but what people say about the blocking, it is true. They was over there moving people as far as the offensive line. They were moving people in this scheme. But I just think he's a clean runner, dog. He's a clean runner. But let me see what he got right here against Ohio State.
So Ohio State was banged up at this point as far as the 2 defensive tackles. So that's just something to note. Tyleek was being switched out a lot in this game. I forget the other kid's name. But they're being switched out a lot in this game. They don't really have any prominent edges. JT Tuimalau is being overhyped, and he's fallen off a cliff the last 2 years.
I've never really been.
Jack Sawyer was definitely the better edge. The thing about Caleb Johnson that I don't like is he's a north-south runner, and I don't think that shit's gonna work in the NFL. And I believe, like, at the end of this game, I remember watching this game. At the end of this game, Ohio State was putting belt to ass, so they switched their defense out and their offense out, and Iowa kept Caleb Johnson in and switched quarterbacks. And so Kate McNamara came out, the new quarterback came in, and Caleb Johnson decided towards the end of the game on the backups to stiff arm a guy for like a 25-yard touchdown. I'm like, why didn't you do this shit in the game? Like, he doesn't use his arsenal at all. And I don't know if that's going to be sustainable. Like, yeah, he's great in open space, but how much are you going to get open if you don't try to do anything?
Right.
So, like, right here, not good contact balance, gets tackled on the leg.
Right.
And gets wrapped up, and he's done. So I'm like, okay, great blocking up front. And I try to weigh this out in my head. Was this great blocking? Look at this. They absolutely open
Oh yeah, they open the
gap
C up.
for him.
Now, see, that is what I don't like as far as because that's an arm, right? That's an arm. And most other running backs I've seen in this class, they'll take that shit and they keep going. So it's like you got
Exactly, like Omarion Hampton and them. But here's my
yeah, that's
thing:
not gonna matter.
with how tiny he is, why didn't he step up right here into his block?
Right.
So you got 3 guys obviously looking this way, and you see green grass. Why didn't you just try to jump cut here and get yourself a little bit more room?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't use like his full arsenal, and I'm like,
Until he's in
what?
open field, I get that. When he gets
Yeah,
open field,
and
he's better.
yeah. So that was the first play. Second play, kind of, and it's just kind of like the same thing. Is we try. It just doesn't. He's not a creative runner. Here again. I mean, if you're reading this, like, okay, I got 1 linebacker, 2 edges, and this. I think this is Lathan Ransom here.
Right.
Got no hole open here, but he doesn't even attempt to like cut back.
Yeah.
A little cutback here probably would have garnered him like 3 yards. I'm not expecting every play. Again, explosive plays are overrated where you're looking for consistency.
I think his patience can get him in trouble at times because he is I like his patience to a degree because I mean in this type of scheme right here you got to kind of be patient with what you do. You got to let it set up a couple times. But I think it gets him in trouble to a degree because sometimes he don't get going. You feel what I'm saying? Till he sees something.
Yep. And here it's like, dude, you got 1 free arm and you're trying to take one of the best tackling teams head to head right here. I'd like to see a stiff arm or a spin move or something. The thing with Omarion Hampton that I love, and you probably noticed too for playing running back, nobody can teach you that little spin move off a tackle like this.
Oh
It's
no,
kind of
that's
just like an instinct, or you can try to learn it. But most of the time when that happens, you end up making a defender fall forward with the tackle because of off your momentum. Like Omarion Hampton does that shit a lot. Like he'll spin into the tackle. Like I'm about to get tackled. Shit, I don't care. I'm gonna spin away from you.
He does do
Not
that.
only does it protect the ball, and I'm not gonna put my head down and put it in your chest cavity, you know?
Yeah, he definitely does that. And then even with Genty, like Genty, I've seen Genty have this type of space right here and still make that motherfucker miss for attack. I've seen
exactly. So, yeah, he's just not, and that's the third play. Again, all these players are in a row from all of his he did some like some Texas routes and stuff like that in between this, but just focusing on the run. Like here, you're tight end. All you had to do
now, you got to hit that now. I see it there.
Yeah, hit it now. Use your speed, or try to hit it on the outside. Like Genty, like this is a Bijan Robinson special right here. He would have cut that shit outside.
But see, the cut's too rounded, and see that's where some of it, like for me, like because I love him, but then it's like some of it comes where it's a little bit limited because he's not as quick laterally as some of these other guys, right? Like Genty, again, we see that it don't take that many steps, or it's not that rounded for him to make that cut and see that shit right there, bro. Or even Hampton, it don't take that many steps.
I
I
don't mind that. Yeah, and I don't mind this rep like as much as the other ones. Like, you followed your blockers, you did what you had to do, but it's just
it's not sexy. I get what you're saying. He's not a sexy runner, like using what he has to his availability.
Well, it's like with this play that drives me crazy. He's gotten outside contain here. Like even if he wanted to run straight this way, look at how many yellow jerseys. This would have been a touchdown.
Real talk.
This would have been yeah. Caleb Downs back here who probably would have stopped.
But it's a lot of yards. It's a lot of yards,
and you got to get a first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with that one.
So those are like the 5 plays, and I'm like, okay. So when everybody's seeing these 140-yard games, you go back and watch the film like on this one, and it's like, oh, you got a 25-yarder at the end of the game against the backups. Are people really watching?
So it's like,
or are we just pretending?
Again, like and when he gets a full head of steam, he is nasty. Like again, we said like in the open field, bro. I think he's a different type of runner in the open field. But then it's like again, it takes him a minute to get up to that shit because he's so patient at times. It takes him a minute to get up to speed. So then he doesn't show all the things like you said, like he's supposed to show. But okay, so there's Caleb. And for me, I have like a third round type of grade on Buddy. Like if the Raiders got him in the third round, so be it. And that just depends on if like there's a run of running backs, right? So say if Genty goes, say if Marion goes. Now all of a sudden you're looking at fucking the dude we'll talk about next. Like, what if Henderson and Judkins go in the second round? Now you got to sit there and you're like, well, as a team, all the good dudes are leaving. Not saying nobody else will be good, but it's like, well, shit, we dwindling. So now we got to start. You got to move dudes up the board. You know how it go. But the next guy that we'll talk about, running back as well, I like. Personally, this is one of my guys, right? This is one of the guys, you have your draft guys. I don't care if nobody likes him. I like this motherfucker. Like, I just think he's good.
Yeah.
Judkins is my guy, bro. I argue with my guy Shavir. Shout out my guy Shavir. Who's better, Henderson or Judkins, or who would we take? Me, I like this dude, bro. I mean, the combine confirmed it. He 230 running a 4.4, moving the way he does. You feel what I'm saying? So I fuck with Buddy.
So I like Judkins. I like Judkins a lot. I just think at this point in time, like you gotta weigh what you have. So Travion Henderson has got some miles on him versus Quinshawn so far. And Quinshawn was the SEC's best running back until he left. That's something to consider as well down there at Ole Miss. And so when I looked at the workload that both of them had at Ohio State, it was, about 50-50 on their carries. And then you start getting down and you start nitpicking everything. Well, Travion is more of an impact blocker than Quinshawn, but can he block? Hell yeah, he can block. He can catch.
Yes.
Can Travion catch? Yeah, they can catch too. Yes. Shit, are they good open field runner? Oh shit, both of them are good open field runner. Can they both run you over? Holy shit, both of them can do it. And then you try to start seeing like just little things like, okay, who has a more powerful jab step?
Right.
Quinshawn does over Travion. And then you start going into who has a higher ceiling. Quinshawn does.
Quinshawn.
I think Travion is a great running back. Like I have him slightly over Quinshawn for the right now. But if Quinshawn can reach his maximum potential, my goodness.
And see, that's been my argument the whole time. Not even to cut you off, bro. I just think this dude can be a 3-down back, bro. I mean, the size that he is and the speed and quickness that he is, bro. And that's what I'm like, bro. People don't understand. This man diminished his own role. Like, this man was already a 3-down back. So it's like, bro. I'm with you. I'm right here.
And he's got a lot of tread on the tires. What is great about Quinshawn, you going into Ohio State. And you got a lot of tread on the tires because you only had to play 50% of the time. That's a great problem to have.
Facts.
A lot of people are going to look at that like, okay, he didn't have to, carry the load. So just little things like this is like when you watch, it's kind of.
I'm so glad you chose this game right here, bro. He had a monstrous game right here.
And it's a national championship against probably the best defense in the country. So it makes sense.
Yep.
But just watch the way he moves. And then we just watch Caleb Johnson. You're like, one of these things is not like the other. Look,
100%.
I'm gonna make things happen, and I'm gonna fall forward. So that was like his first rep catching the pass. So I felt like it's important to show his full arsenal here, just based off the open field running like this,
Yeah. And again, like it's just when I watch it and I go back to how much he weighs, it's like. He shouldn't be fucking moving like this with how much he weighs.
I don't know if he's seen Quinshawn's workout routine.
I just saw that shit right now.
Strong.
He's different.
Yeah, and he's still young as shit. And that's what I'm saying about like the block. Nobody's asking Quinshawn to come up and make blocks like this.
Come on, man.
Against Xavier Watts.
Yeah.
That's Xavier Watts right there, ladies and gentlemen.
That shit makes me excited. And Watts is nice, bro. Watts ain't no slouch.
I had him. Deal, dog. I had Xavier Watts in my Heisman watch.
Bro,
I was really
real deal, dog. Trust me, I got a Notre Dame homie. Shout out to my guy Leo, bro. We talk about him all the time. Yeah, Watts is real deal.
Yeah. Watts is one of my guys. But for people to say that he's Kyle Hamilton, stop.
Oh no.
Kyle Hamilton, he was the one that I said was going to be generational. Him and Derek Stingley Jr.
Bro. He's
him and Derek Stingley. And look how that turned out, man.
You're right. Shit. And you said Derek Stingley too. Stingley, man. Stingley's nice as fuck.
As long as he stays healthy. He just got a massive contract.
Oh yeah, as long as he's healthy, bro, he's a top corner. Ooh,
yep.
cut,
So here it is, and falls for it.
My
Because he's
God,
more
bro.
powerful than everybody else, man. Like, this is the shit that I want to see out of Caleb. You're not getting this.
Mm.
You think you want to stop the run against him even in 5 yards like this? Fuck.
Now
man.
I know some of y'all is like, oh, the run wasn't that impressive, but again, bro, like look at his. We just watched Caleb Johnson, right? You saw how long it kind of took to turn, right? We just talked about it. Like, bro, why is it taking so long to turn into that hole like that, bro? Look at the movement.
And he was patient here. He didn't attack the hole like Caleb did. Like Caleb just wants to run straight. Look how patient he was with this. Again, we got a down defensive lineman right here that could have came up and grabbed his ankle or something, but
you see the feet, bro? Like that's what I'm saying, dog. That shit, that man didn't round that at all. That was the sharpest you can get that. Sharpest, dog. Yes, that's all.
It's nasty work. So that's 3 plays. All right, so we're getting some real good consistency so far.
That's a fact. We see it from this view would tell us for real.
So we got G Scott Jr. here in motion. And just putting on the block on 44. Not asking him to do much, but look, he helped his teammate out.
I like when the head pop back too, man. I like when the head gets popped back from the DN. At least I know you coming with some shit.
Yeah, he came up and stuck him, you know. And then the 5th play here. Again, these are 5 plays in a row that he was out there splitting carries with Quinshawn. Or splitting carries with Travion.
Good patience.
It still falls for it.
Yeah.
It's a good rip. So watch it from this angle. So we got the sliding on the defensive line. You know, he saw that. So that's when it's like, okay, I got an open gap to turn up right there.
Boom.
And still falls forward, still squeaks through. To be able to get under a guy's arm when they're tackling you, just to squeak the ball forward a little bit. People don't know that's very valuable, you know. This is the difference between stopping on a, you know, on a 3rd and 1 to getting a first down right here.
Facts.
So like with a scout's view, they're gonna see this and be like, and there's an extra effort there. He protects the ball, but still gets that ball forward in the momentum and gets right under that guy's shoulder instead of trying to run his ass over. Look at that. Pulls that right shoulder out. Right shoulder, the arm came down. He shouldn't have come out of this. And look, 2 arms on the ball.
And again, bro, the superpower or the thing that you always notice with the running backs, that's a major key. You got to know, are they falling forward? Are they getting extra yardage while getting tackled? And every clip you show right here, bro, he's forward every single time, right? He's forward every single time. So I personally like Quinshawn, especially what we got in our room with Raheem Mostert and what you said that was so pivotal with Chip Kelly, right? Like, we don't really need no running back to take no 30 carries. So if I were to say that our rotation consists of Raheem Mostert and Quinshawn Judkins, I like that pairing, bro. That shit works. They play off each other, in my opinion. I really like that.
It's actually very interesting that you say that, because like, what Raheem Mostert are you getting? I'm a big Raheem Mostert fan when he's healthy. I think nobody can stop him. And he's the Tyreek Hill of running backs for sure. Like
when he gets going, when he gets going, bro.
When he even between the tackles, like he's so smooth. He's like a razor blade through paper, man. Like he's that smooth.
But and this is why I like him, bro.
Yeah, you pair him up with Quinshawn, they keep each other healthy, which is what Chip
That's
Kelly
the
wants.
whole point, bro. That is the whole, because you're 31, bro. I don't need you to take no goddamn 25 carries, bro. Take this nice 10 to 12, maybe 15 on one given day, bro. And then Quinshawn get that 10 to 15 on his side, bro. Let's let it rock.
I think if Travion's off the board, Chip's like talking in Pete's ear and Spytek's ear, like, go get Quinshawn. We're not gonna regret it.
Now another person, we don't have the film, but we got I believe we got 2 more players, I think so, either 1 or 2. We got 1 or 2 more. But
2.
Okay, so we didn't talk about him, but I just real quick, that Scatterboo, bro. I love Scatterboo. I can see Pete looking at Scatterboo and being like, I like that there. I do like that there. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'll take him.
Yeah, I've been correcting people how to say his name since last year.
Oh. Hey,
Yeah,
bro. They be butchering it. I ain't gonna lie. People be butchering it.
Scatterboo. Yeah. So last year I got hip to him. I think it was around week 2 or 3. This is last year, as in 2023, when he transferred over from Sacramento State. And it was a game where he punted like 3 times, put one of the punts inside the 20. Then he had a passing touchdown, I believe. And then he ran for like 60 yards and caught like another 80. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yo, I swear, bro, I got hip to one of the guys, bro, one of the Raider guys, man, because he live in Arizona. He an Arizona State fan for 2 years in a row, bro. He's like, Scatterboo. I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? So like this year, I'm like, all right, bro, he's up there. So now I really watch closely. And when I say every game that I watched, this motherfucker's throwing somebody off, stumbling for 20 yards, getting up and still doing that shit, bro. And I mean that last playoff game against Iowa State sealed it for me. I said, yeah, this motherfucker's different. Even Texas, I said, he's making plays against Texas, dog. Like, yeah, it sealed it for me.
I think, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Jaguars fan, the way that, and it brings back good memories, of course, but he reminds me of Fred Taylor.
Okay.
You remember how people just didn't want to, Ray or Lewis didn't even want to tackle Fred Taylor.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that, brother. Like,
yeah, real talk. And I don't know, maybe it's because Pete's our coach, but I do see a little white Marshawn, man. Just a little bit of that ability where it's like, I'm not trying to come up and
the
really
Marshawn Lynch. I'm telling you, whoever gets this and gets the full potential out of this guy, the only Marshawn Lynch I see in his class is Damian Martinez from Miami.
Really?
My God, he like when I watch Damian, I'm like, that's Marshawn, not because of the dreadlocks. They just run the same. I'm like, God.
And his size is crazy too, bro. I don't think people understand how big Damian Martinez is. Like that motherfucker's huge. But okay, our last 2 prospects of the night, man. We done had some people stay with us tonight, man. It's been a long one, but thank you everybody for staying here for the rundown, man, with our guy Dante from East Coast Gridiron, man, and everybody from the Gridiron crew, man. Thank you for joining us here on the rundown. Hopefully, if you're a Raider fan, you tap the like button, you tap the subscribe button, you felt what you're hearing. But our last 2 people of the night, 2 prospects that I believe we still are in need of. One is a wide receiver, and the reason we're doing this guy, because I mean, obviously you've seen Chris Sims had him highly rated, and everybody was shocked. They said, who the hell is this dude that you got at number 2 on your board? So obviously I said, okay, we got to take a look, because I saw a little bit of him, but I'm like, I do like what I see. I do like what I see. So I definitely would love to look at that. And then we got a quarterback to end it off, right? Not going to say who the quarterback is yet, but we got a quarterback to end it off, man. So we're going to watch some Kyle Williams right now, man. Hey, that's how I know my people be watching me, man. He already knew where we was going. Kyle Williams for sure, man. We here, man. So let's go ahead, man. Let's see what he got.
I don't even know why Chris Sims brought up Kyle Williams in any aspect of being top 5, but I mean, this shit pissed me off when I watched this, and I'll show you the play that pissed me off.
I'm trying to understand.
So Kyle Williams is one of those guys that's going to be a slot receiver at the next level, and he's going to get 1 or 2 passes in the NFL that are going to be first downs, and that's going to be it. I don't think he does. I don't think he does anything like crazy like on this. But I could tell you what, this guy right here plays at Oklahoma. His name is John Mateer. He's a badass quarterback. Badass. I remember watching a couple of his games last year, and I hit up my group chat. I was like, y'all watch this Washington State game? This dude John Mateer is a fucking beast.
Now it's like
Oklahoma. I was like, oh my God, they got to.
Now he might do something over there. Now it's like with Kyle Williams, I do like the yak, right? I like the yak ability that he brings. But you're the second person I've talked to that I respect the football opinion, bro. That's like, nah, he's a slot. He's not over. I don't think he's an outside dude. He's more of a slot.
Yeah, I think for stuff like this, just like a quick out, this is the good stuff. He's, the stuff that he's really good at. Get the first down, get upfield. I don't mind this type of stuff, but obviously, is this stuff that's super talented. He doesn't really get downfield. Now, I think this is the next play that pissed me off when I watched this, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm about done with Kyle Williams just off of this. He's gonna be one of those shit birds at the next level." So this dude, I forget this guy on Boise State, but he's right at the top of your screen up here. This dude absolutely fucking locked him up. And he got mad. And look.
Oh, come on. Son.
Why are they fighting? Why is he fighting them? I was like, I'm done watching this dude. That's already a red. Look, he like pulled him near him. He pulled him down and then slapped him up against the helmet. And then number 7 is like, "Where's my flag, dog?"
Yeah, he was tweaking off that one. He was tweaking off that one.
Yeah, I was like, nope, I'm not a Kyle Williams guy. Fuck this dude. But I gave him a chance, anyways.
We continue.
And again, these are all plays in a row that he was on. But I think this is the play where he ran this out and didn't sell the play at all. He looks for the ball and look what he does. Runs out of bounds. What are you doing?
Yeah. And I tried to remember Loso. I was trying to look it up before you said it, but I forgot this motherfucker was from Inglewood. And Shameless plug, look, I'm from over here in SoCal too, man. So when you say Inglewood and you talk about the California area, we all know what comes out of that. So we all understand. It's either like you said, it's either some knuckleheads or they doing some other shit. So that's definitely that.
Yeah, and I just don't understand this route. You're running pretty much like an exaggerated wheel route here.
Right.
And you run out of bounds because you're not paying attention. Yeah. Again, the thing that I like Tedero McMillan for is if he was running this wheel like this and he sees a defender in front of him, he's going to the open space of the field. John Mateer can see these guys here. He can put the ball in this area.
Yeah, because ain't nobody right there.
And then you force him to throw this shit out of bounds. Like, to me, this is just like a fucking stupid play by him. And again, as we said, all these plays are in a row.
Right.
So I'm evaluating everything here.
I ain't seeing it now, Chris Sims. I don't know if he was talking about like first, second round, dude. I don't know what he's talking about. I said third round. Third, fourth round if he's there, maybe.
Again, I like this play. Again, in the slot, quick out. John Mateer gets sacked.
See, I like him in the slot, but we don't need a slot receiver, and that's what would kill me.
You got Trey Tucker, so this doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
But he's not even as fast as Trey Tucker, so the shit don't matter.
Right, and then what I see, I don't know so far, but I know Trey Tucker gonna block when it comes to the run game. I know that's for sure. He's gonna get it in.
Again, gonna take this is what he does, and still short of the marker. Still short of the marker. Doesn't want to give up his body at all to at least gain a yard. To me, this is a really bad rep on a play that's designed for him on this bubble screen. What are we doing? At least get a yard, Kyle. No, right. I'm not gonna do this shit. Yeah, again, I'm gonna rewind the tape for those that didn't see. Once I saw this fucking play right here, I was checked out. I already knew what it was. I'm checked out, bro. That's just a bad sign. Like, yeah. So, I mean, I'm gonna do some more research from Kyle. Again, the reason why I'm bringing up 5 clips is I'm trying to show y'all as far as like the scouting process. What a lot of guys look for is consistency, especially at the beginning of a game. And when you show absolutely nothing, and then you can't do what you're called to do, your best routes have been quick outs. You had one good play, got frustrated on the next play, ran out of bounds the next play, had a quick out, which you ran a good route there, and then he took a bubble screen and didn't even get a first down. Like, to me, that's red flag, red flag, red flag. Like, where's your consistency at, Kyle? Like, you got to understand the situation and that every yard matters at the next level. So if you're running out of bounds like that, or at least not trying to get a first down, he's gonna be a practice squad player. Like, I don't know if the team's gonna take a chance on him.
First of all, Dre, you ain't shit. I look like Jamar Chase out there, so don't do that. All right. Next coming to Jerry Rice. All right. there's some guys, bro, that you looked at because I just wanted to bring him up, because I was talking about him earlier on this week, and I've always said I got to do some more work on him too because he's new, and the only reason I'm even shameless, the only reason I'm even putting him on the radar is because of what the fuck Chris Sims said. I'm like, who the fuck is this dude that you all of a sudden got number 2 right here?
I respect Chris Sims. Like I've been a habitual supporter of Chris Sims and his opinion. Like his opinion.
He got it right last year. Last year was good.
Well, it's just like what I feel about Steve Smith right now. Like they're former pros. I don't care if Chris Sims wasn't this otherworldly quarterback. He still made it to the NFL. He knows 100%. Way more than I do. And if I was in a room with him, I would give him that same respect to ask him exactly what he sees and explain it to me because I want to learn more. And I think a lot of people just want to go and shit on people that have actually accomplished more than they have in the sport that they said that they know a lot about. So take a step back every once in a while and try to understand where he's coming from. I'm not going to shit on Chris because he thinks Kyle Williams is better. He played in the league. I didn't. But from what I see in the first 5 plays in my scouting brand, I'm not impressed by Kyle whatsoever. And I see your Raider Loso. He said Nick Nash. I would encourage you, sir, to go watch film on Nick Nash. And I'm gonna tell you what, he wasn't even the best receiver. He wasn't the best receiver on his team. There's a kid down there called Justin Lockhart that was a fucking beast. Absolutely, he was disgusting. He allowed Nick Nash to get open every single time he got the ball because he was such a nasty route runner.
I think for me, it's a reason that all that Nick Nash talk died off after the season. There's a definite reason, dog.
He had a bummy Shrine Bowl too. He was down at the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah, that was the next thing.
Kobe Bryant had his ass locked up in practice, from what I hear.
I was like, man, okay, Nick Nash here at the Shrine. I'm like, all right, bro, we gonna see some things.
No, Kobe said you ain't gonna do no 9 routes with me, because that's all he does is run 9 routes.
Not today. And before we get to our last person, man, make sure you guys, again, man, shameless plug, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, bro. We trying to bring you the best content we can, man. We watched most of our needs, talked about most of our needs. Now I'm like, bro, I want to watch Jaden Higgins. I'm gonna get that in because that's another one of my guys I'm like body type wise for the Raiders.
But watch the film study we did on them.
Yeah, I seen that. I gotta go watch that.
Jalen Noel is better, and he's
smaller. Everybody likes Jalen Noel. It's like
Jalen Noel is a beast. He's a beast.
It's like, damn, bro, and it's like the Raiders do need a big body dude, but I do like Noel, dog. Noel is nice, dog. Shout out to my guy Space Beast, man, for the $2 holler, real quick, man. Thank you, appreciate it, Space Beast. Higgins is kind of slow. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I wouldn't say that. He actually is really fast.
He's quick.
He's just Noel is just Noel will go up there and grab the ball out the sky, man, if you throw it near him. Like, I don't know. When you watch both of them on film, Jalen Noel's route tree is better. He's a more creative runner. He puts his body on the line more for passes. I understand that people like Jaden Higgins, but I honestly, in being at the Senior Bowl, I can tell you he had a couple good plays, and people are like, "Oh my God, Jaden Higgins is such a fucking beast," and I'm like, y'all got this opinion off of a practice, but I mean, we said the same thing about Roman Wilson is actually a beast, but Roman Wilson was the best receiver. He went to the Steelers. He was hurt all last year.
Yeah.
But when he gets healthy, he's gonna be a damn monster. I
did like him coming out of Michigan, bro. I did like him coming out. So now, I mean, we talked about most of our guys, bro. We're here to the last guy, man. We're here to our last evaluation of the night. And we got quarterback. And shout out to my guy Space Beast, because he guessed it right. Out of all the quarterbacks you've heard Rundown talk about, everybody knows, bro, this is like, I've damn near talked about this man the least. But in the Raiders situation, he damn near makes the most sense, because he'd be able to sit down. He'd be able to learn. He wouldn't have to be thrust in there immediately. And with the skill set that he has, if you can unlock certain things, it's over. Plus, they just have a top 30 visit schedule with this man, Jalen Milroe, right? So we're going to tap into some Jalen Milroe, man. And y'all know me. I'm not a big fan. But in seeing what the Raiders need, the position we're in, he makes a lot of sense. So let's see, man. Let's see what Dante tells us, man. What can we see? What can we take away? And we chose the Georgia game, too.
Jalen Milroe is my number 5 quarterback that could be rising higher on my board. I think a lot of people have this misconception that he's a bad quarterback, and his team was ass around him. Having Jan Miller and Justice Haynes there, who are supposed to be the 2 best running backs in the country, absolutely shit the bed. So what had happened was Ryan Williams, who was amazing in the first half of the season at wide receiver, disappeared halfway through the season because he was the only weapon. It wasn't because of him and his talent level. It was because he was the only one. They had Jeremy Bernard, who came over from Washington with Kalen DeBoer. He was all right, but I mean, this is the stuff that you have to like consider when you're Jalen Milroe, and why they had schemed so many runs for him too, is because
100%.
he's pretty much the only one. So, but I, again, these are 5 plays in a row. Well, 5 passing plays. I also have his running plays, which we'll look at that too. So again, whenever you're an offensive coordinator, you want to shore up your short game first to focus on the tempo.
100%.
And this is a fucking rocket.
There you go.
Yo, Ryan Williams is gonna be a fucking problem. By the way, look how quick he turns.
Man, bro,
I can't wait to see him next year.
If you had to choose real quick, I know this is on the spot, but him or your boy from Ohio State, which one you taking?
Jeremiah Smith. I'm taking Jeremiah Smith is for both of these dudes to be 18 was insane.
I know, bro. That shit, like both of them, I'm happy with both of them if I'm a team. I'll give a fuck. Either one. I'll take either one, but I like Jeremiah, dog. I like Jeremiah.
I think I'm partial to Ryan Williams right now for the simple fact that who else did Ryan have around him when he had to be a superstar on the team?
That is a fact.
That's the only thing. I hate to use that against Jeremiah because he was fucking incredible, but go down the line. Josh Simmons on the offensive line. You had Will Howard, Emeka Ibuka, Carnell Tate, Brandon Enos, G. Scott Jr., Quinshawn Judkins, Travion Henderson. Dude, the fuck?
Yeah.
Chip Kelly is your coach?
He had a lot of motherfuckers, man.
Who did Ryan Williams have? Jalen Milroe.
You would hope DeBoer, but DeBoer shit the bed too.
Yep. So you're getting a quick game started here. Again, it sounds like I'm giving an excuse for Ryan, but I love his tape more than Jeremiah Smith. I think Jeremiah Smith is an absolute unit, though. I think he's going to be he's going to be an incredible wide receiver in the NFL, and I think I'll put it like this: Jeremiah Smith is going to be AJ Brown, and Ryan Williams is going to be a better version. Not a better version, not a better wide receiver, but he's going to be a more exciting version than Larry Fitzgerald to watch. I know that's high praise right now, but that's just where I see both of them. Who has the better career? I don't know, but I just like watching Ryan Williams better because I think he's more creative in the air.
Right.
So people are going to hate that, but it is what it is.
Man, either one, somebody should be happy. Okay, they got him on the jump.
I mean, they're both going to be on the cover of NCAA.
Oh, yeah.
2026. Yeah. So they already leaked it, and they're both there.
Yeah. It's over.
All right, so this throw for me is incredible. It just had a little bit too much mustard on it. Again, this is the second play in a row that he threw the ball. He steps back. He's looking for Ryan Williams, and he feels the pressure. He gets hit here. But I'm going to show it from the other angle because you got to see Ryan Williams would have came down with this catch if it didn't have this much heat on it. Look how close this was. This is inbounds. Ryan Williams jumped up a little bit too soon, and look where his feet land. Almost inbounds. He only needs 1 foot.
So is that because that is something with me and Milroe where it's like, bro, sometimes he tends to put a little too much mustard on it, right? And then it's like that's a problem with some of the stronger arm quarterbacks where it's like they don't know how to take some heat off that motherfucker sometimes. Is that something that he can work on? Translate.
I think honestly this was a really good pass, to be honest. Maybe he could have took a little bit off, but like only 1 foot in college. When I used to coach and I used to play, my coach always used to tell me, throw it to the sideline. The sideline is your best friend, even if he was to knock this out. But also it gives your receiver an opportunity to reach out of bounds and catch a pass if you have that much arm talent. And this is exactly what he did. It's just Ryan Williams jumped a little bit too soon. That's all this was. Or this would have been in. He was only out of bounds by like half a toe. So,
that
but
is a dot, though. I ain't gonna cat, dog. That's a
this
dot.
is a fucking NFL throw. This is an NFL throw.
Mm-hmm. That's a throw. So okay, that's two. That's two. Good.
He gets it. Oh well, that's still the same throw. And also, he got hit on that throw. So
yeah, right.
We want to talk about Shador and like his toughness, but let's look at Jalen Milroe's getting fucking popped too.
Right.
Third throw of the game, right across the middle in the mesh concept. A lot of people will say this is a hospital ball, but he did not see Dan Jackson coming down. Dan Jackson is, oh my God, he's one of those day 3 guys that somebody's going to get an absolute safety for the next 8 years.
Now, somebody could say he could have waited a tick for, I think, a tight end to come free, but he's getting hit as soon as he's throwing that fucking drag, so it's not going to work.
I used to run mesh concepts a lot of my offense. I love them. I even have a T-shirt on our website that says "Get meshy with it." I love
mesh. Yeah.
So
he ain't got the time. He ain't got the time to sit down. For
no,
that.
He had to throw it right here, which he was winding up. It just Dan Jackson made a good play. So when you're watching these two, consider that, like, was it a great defensive play? And did Jalen Milroe do what he was supposed to do? He absolutely did what he was supposed to do. And Dan Jackson came up and made an amazing play. So yeah, I love. We actually interviewed Dan too at the Senior Bowl.
Oh, yeah,
love that guy.
Y'all got everybody.
Yeah,
but
we had like
man,
20-some interviews. So
I gotta go check them shits out because there are some dudes on there that that you didn't say that I definitely want to go see. Some of their interviews, what they look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you become fans of these guys more when you try not to be biased, but like I could tell you who was a fucking asshole. I mean, asshole from like when we said, "Hey man, can we get an interview?" to like his whole interview was the dude from Auburn. What's the running back's name?
Not Rocket Sanders. It's not him.
No, he's from South Carolina. Hold on.
That's South Carolina.
Why am I drawing a blank?
Is it Hunt? Why is it Hunter? It can't be Jarquez Hunter or something like that.
Jarquez Hunter. Yep, that's who it was.
There we go. There we go.
Asshole.
Really? Oh shit.
Yeah, he's a dick. Yeah. We were like, hey man, can we get an interview? And it was like such a fucking problem for him. I was like, Jesus Christ, this interview is gonna go like shit. I didn't interview him. It was one of my guys that did, and it was like I said, everybody gets that one bad interview, and that was his.
Oh yeah, it's always the one.
But he's a great running back. Like the motherfucker, I would not want to be 1-on-1 with Jarquez Hunter. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. He's a load now. He's a load. Pause, but you already know.
He's a unit, man. He's a beast. So we got another. Now this one is amazing. Another NFL throw. I'm gonna just let y'all watch this. So Jeremy Bernard gets outside leverage here, and the only way for Jeremy to beat him is either for Jalen to throw it towards the sideline or try to cut it inside between. I think that's Malachi Starks and Dan Jackson, and he puts it inside where the receiver could get it.
See, and for me, you might have a different opinion, but I feel like his deep ball accuracy is so much better when it than his other accuracy, and I don't know why it like the other accuracy drops off intermediate or maybe some of the other levels, but when he throws deep,
but does it though? You saw that one to Ryan Williams.
Yeah, not to a degree. I'm not gonna say it drops off like significantly, but I will say his deep ball is. I do think it is better. Like when he goes deep, most of the time, bro, I'm seeing that bitch on the money. Most of the time, bro.
Yeah, a lot of people say he doesn't step up in his throw and everything, but like the mechanics are the mechanics, and he did step up into this throw. I don't like the way that his whole body's angled right here. I'd rather him put more torque on his arm to get this out because he does have. I mean, Jalen Milroe looks like a fucking linebacker. Let's be honest.
100%.
But this is a really good throw from him. And we've seen 4 good throws in a row. So where is this narrative of people saying that Jalen Milroe can't throw the rock? And this is against Georgia. So again, we're showing you 4 plays in a row, not just picking out plays. So if it was bad, it just would be bad.
Right.
but I try to pick a good team he played against on the passing and the running side. This is the same play.
I love this throw, though. That fucking throw.
So let's get into the running plays are really cool. So he's searching around, and people want to say this is another mesh concept. There was nothing there for him to throw.
Nah, ain't nothing there.
And he takes off. So when people say, "Oh, he's a run first quarterback," kill that narrative. I don't want to hear that shit. He went through the progression. Found my guy in the flat, he's not open. Found my guy going underneath, he's not open. Found my guy going in the outside, it's not open. I'm out. That's the progression in the mesh concept. Flat, underneath, over top. Look at him go through it again. You can see his helmet. Flat, underneath, over top. Done. Nothing's there. Still got a couple yards out of it. Yeah. So everybody that says he's run first, kill that shit. And tell everybody that's saying that shit to kill that shit too. Like, it's not true. Just people make up stuff. It's crazy, man.
No, for sure. I mean, they see somebody run, and immediately it's like, oh, he's run first.
Like, what's he supposed to do here? Not run after pressure's in his face?
Yeah, come on now.
Look at the run.
Now we all know what time it is, bro. When he gets in the open field, right? He's a special athlete, like a motherfucker. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Not many quarterbacks do
that. Again, I would have expected him to get 2 or 3 yards to keep the play alive, right? Okay, he missed the tackle here. Get down and slide in most cases.
Nah,
but you're gonna force Jalen not to use that. And he tried to get up and he went out of bounds. That's a great play.
Yeah.
Sideline is your friend.
Because, like you said again, I mean, he's built like a linebacker, bro. Not too many people going to come up and tackle that 24/7.
Yep. So this is just a design. I'm gonna take it. OC saw a little bit of open grass. He stiff arms, got to the one. Now, what do y'all think the next play is going to be?
Run that shit again.
Exactly. So
again.
Now, this is a smart play call. So we're going to have CJ Dupree here in motion. Now, I want everybody to count the defensive guys. Look at the shift. The shift moves to this side. Dan Jackson's here. Got a one-on-one matchup here. Got an extra blocker here. And CJ Dupree.
I see what's about to happen. Yeah, I see what's about to happen.
This guy's eliminated. Well, these two guys are eliminated. Dan Jackson should only be the last one here. None of these rest of these guys are going to get over, right?
Yep.
Great offensive coordinated play call here. Leave the ball in your quarterback's hands. Make them think it's going to be a run. Look at this shit. Open grass.
That's a great ass call. And you can see it setting up. Like they moving themselves out to play. You can see it.
So let me ask you guys something. Is this Jalen Milroe's fault on why he ran this play? Or was this just smart because we got to put points up on the board?
It's a good ass play call, bro.
It's a OC tendency that he saw in their defense. Once they shifted over off that motion to CJ Dupree, they saw open grass. And of course, what did I tell you guys? Hash marks matter in college. Look how much open grass is over here. So yes, I'm sure the OC was like, all right, we're gonna let you do a quarterback keeper here. You could choose where you want to run. If you see this line shift, you already know where to go. But we're gonna favor this side of the field. That's probably what the play call was. Yep. And Jalen was like, all right, remember they got radios on their helmets this year. So this is the first time that's happened. They're not using handsets.
Oh, yeah, because college never had really the radio inside. So this is crazy, man. So he's really getting the NFL coaching.
The OC's talking to him right now.
Right.
Send CJ in motion. Cool. You see I'd be telling him this. You see Malachi Starks drop right there? You good. Run to the left. OC is in the booth right now, jumping up and down.
Yeah. That's a great play, man.
That's Jalen Milroe for your ass right there.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Don't see the hate on that kid. I love Jalen Milroe. I think
now look, bro. There's been times I've said on here, I've gotten disrespectful, right? I've got disrespectful with Milroe at times where I'm like, dog, like, you know, and this was mainly after like watching maybe the Oklahoma game and watching certain shit. You're like, man, just trade for Joe Milton or some shit, man, and just ended off there, bro, because I didn't like what I saw. But again, in knowing our situation, it's like he don't have to touch grass for at least a year or two. You know what I mean? Like, and just see how much he progresses from there. Because what Geno brings, that gives us the ability to say, we like what you can do on the ground, but let's get your throwing up to par. If his throwing gets like the running, that like how everybody said with Lamar Jackson, I don't think he's gonna be Lamar Jackson, but if he just gets the throwing to the fraction and just continue to be consistent as his running is, he gonna be a fucking problem, dog. I think he'll be a fucking problem for wherever he goes.
I said this at the beginning of draft season. I said when people start digging more into the film and not picking out plays, not picking out all the bad plays, not picking out all the good plays, but watching plays in a row like this and seeing how the offense progresses and actually giving the player a chance by looking at their bad and their good in a in a progressive fashion, like 5 to 10 plays at a time, you'll really start to understand, like, holy shit, like Jalen Milroe's actually good. Wow, that pass to the outside to Ryan Williams was fucking crazy. That throw downfield and then to leave it in his hands when he had the moment. Like, you got to think Jalen Milroe's adrenaline is pumping and he knows that he could probably get it in there. How can I scheme this last play up to put the ball in his hands? Because he feels unstoppable right now. Like, that's great OC development. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of people get like very hung up by when you see the interceptions on the stat sheet instead of understanding what happened in that play. Same thing with we talked about Carson Beck earlier, right? When Carson Beck threw like those 3 or 4 interceptions in that game, but like,
yeah,
3/4 of them shits wasn't his fault.
And you know, I put it like this too, because and we haven't even talked about him, but like even Jackson Dart, right? Like, it's like some people will bring up the Florida game, and at the end of the game, it's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Some of them throws are like, dog. But then from quarters 1 to 3, if you watch 1 to 3 of that Florida game, Jackson Dart is throwing some fucking heaters. And he's actually keeping their ass in that game. So it's like you're saying, bro. The story is not just the box score. Can't just fucking look at the box score and be like, oh, that's what he is. Or, watch the full story, right? As far as, sometimes maybe some people get guilty of this. They'll watch the YouTube, a couple clips, couple cut-ups, right? And it's like, well, that's it. Can't do that.
I can already I'll put it like this, Rundown. I respect the fact that you sat here, watched the clips, understood what was going on, even with your opinion on like somebody like Miro. And I can already see the gears turning in your head. Would be like, maybe all this shit I was hearing was actually cap. Like, I see it, you see it on film now, and it's like there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, I watched a ton of film on this guy." No, you fucking didn't. You just going with the same opinion as everybody else because it's the sexy thing to do. So then when I point out people like Bo Nix and Adrian Cooper and guys like that people didn't have highly touted, I don't have an opinion on everything else. This is what I see. I can't guarantee that a player is going to be great in the NFL. I just can't.
Right.
But I can give you a good inclination of like this should translate over to that. And when you watch this film on NFL prospects, you can't evaluate it as if they were playing against college teams. I told you that throw that Milroe made to Ryan Williams, that was an NFL throw, regardless of whatever you want to say. It was in a great position for the receiver to go up there and use his ability to go up there and catch it, and it was to the sideline. That's what they teach you in the NFL. That's what Tom Brady is going to say.
So there's a platform, bro. Like, all you want to see from a player like that, right? Because we're not talking about no first round prospect, right? It's in the 3rd round, maybe you get him in the 3rd round, and to get him in the 3rd round, I wouldn't mind. But you just want a platform to spring off of, right? Like, you want something to look at film and say, okay, I can work with that. Boom, I can work with that. We already knew, bro. You didn't even have to show me the running clips for me to be like, we already knew, right? You could just turn on LSU, turn on all these motherfucking games, bro. I don't even have to know about that.
But it's good to understand like why they were running the ball, right? Like,
exactly.
When people say he's run first, it's like you expect a DT to crash in on me and me to fucking take the sack when I know I can get around him, or like going through the progression on the mesh concept, like 1, 2, 3, and then he ran the ball. But Jalen is a run first quarterback. He's just a glorified running back. It's the same thing, like you said, with Lamar Jackson. I watched Lamar Jackson for 2 years straight when he was at Louisville.
I don't know where that narrative came from that he couldn't throw. I don't know where the fuck that came from.
He fucking wrecked Florida State with his arm. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about, brother? Like, Lamar Jackson is that dude.
It's you know what it is, and it was the same thing kind of for Lamar. It's like the consistency, bro. Like, I just want to see Milroe be consistent with some of the things, and maybe that is, and it's not to say he's not accurate, but maybe some of the things come from, and you kind of pointed out a little bit, bro, like the technique and the body and the way he torques some of the throws, maybe that can be tweaked a little bit, right? Like maybe his footwork can be tweaked a tad, take a little heat off some of the things, bro. But all the things we're saying right now aren't major ass things where we're like, oh nah, bro, like he's Riley Leonard, you know, like we're not gonna say that, bro. Like we're not gonna go over here like that.
Yeah, Riley Leonard did, and Riley Leonard's an interesting one because when he was at Duke, I loved Riley Leonard. But when he got to Notre Dame, it was like, we're just going to run you.
What the hell?
And then when it was time for him to pass, it was like, noodle ass arm Riley Leonard over here.
Yeah, bro.
I was like, what the fuck happened, ugly, bro? You're like a different guy.
I don't know what that is, bro. I mean, don't get to talk about noodle arms, and we just watched a lot of Quinn Ewers and shit. So don't.
I love Quinn, but that deep ball is ass.
Oh my god, bro! He showed that in the pro day too. That motherfucker got the wobbling and wiggling. I'm like, oh, that shit quack.
Comes up, it's like he's throwing a grenade.
Yeah, that shit's ugly. His deep ball's ugly as fuck, but everything else is straight.
What did we used to say back in the day about Phillip Rivers? Because Phillip Rivers was accurate, but that ball will wiggle. What are we? Oh my god! This is when I was in high school.
Don't start about Phillip, man.
We used to say he used to look like he used to throw a medicine ball. That's what we used to say.
That boy Phillip, boy. Hey, Phillip is hilarious, man. But shout out to Phillip and fuck Phillip, man. You know, we were Raider show, so that man used to get his headaches and shit over there back in the day. But hey, man, we appreciate you for pulling up here to the rundown, bro. It's been a long one, but appreciate everybody for pulling up, bro. But this has been one of the most fun conversations in the offseason I've had, bro. So I really appreciate you pulling up, man, and blessing us with football talk, bro.
Yeah, man. So, it's always fun to talk football and get down to the film and kind of dispel some of the stuff that people see and read. Like, I always tell people, form your own opinions, but also have an informed opinion is super important because opinions can be wrong. When you're just getting fed from a lot of different places. But you know, again, my top 5 is not everybody's top 5 as well, but I do it based off of. I mean, we watch these guys every Saturday, Thursday, Friday. My wife would tell you, I'm up at 2:00 in the morning watching fucking San Jose State play, Fresno State.
Hey man, shout out to the ladies, man. Shout out to your wife. Shout out to my lady rundown, man. Because what we do, bro, this shit thankless. This shit is thankless for them, bro. We be on this motherfucker. I know I'm on this shit damn near 3 hours. I told her I was gonna be on this shit for an hour. So this shit is
thankless, she just asked me like, how long you gonna be on there?
Oh man, I got the look. So trust me, we on the same page, brother. We on the same page. Shit. But hey man, any shows y'all got coming up later on in the week or whatever, man, for some of the people that just subscribe to you, they might want to check out some more content, man. Anything y'all got coming out later on in the week?
So we got a series called Sliders that we do. I got it edited up for my guy Sword that just did his version. So if you guys like Devin Neal, we're gonna have a complete breakdown of him from his high school to college to some of the film. And kind of giving you a grading scale of where we see him. I mean, obviously we're big fans or we wouldn't be breaking him down at all. So Devin White's up next. We'll do a couple film studies probably this week on a couple players. Still a lot of homework for us to do. And then, yeah, I got a couple high school guys that they want me to do a video and put it on the channel. So I always, I get a couple that hit me up in the DMs every single week. They don't want to have a video made about them. They just want some pointers. So I try to take care of the high school guys a lot too. So I don't know. I pride myself with just watching their film for free because I remember what it was like growing up, man. Not a lot of people have money and shit to get to camps and everything like that. So
that's real, bro.
And they got the balls enough to send me their film. So then I'd sit there and watch it and obviously give them some feedback. A lot of guys I've been seeing that I've done been getting a lot of college offers and stuff. So super proud of those guys,
bro. That's hard, bro. That's tough, bro.
Yeah,
that is tough.
Yeah,
man.
Super proud of those guys for taking the feedback, and sometimes they'll hit me up and say, "Hey, man, appreciate it. Somebody saw the YouTube video. One of the coaches saw the YouTube video and things like that. So, whatever I can do to give back, that's what we try to do over here. So."
That's all that's about, bro. That's real dope, man. So, hey, and now I got you in the repertoire. I might have some guys send your way, man. Just as far as the football things, but hey, once again, bro, appreciate you again, man, and shout out to you. Before we get out of here, bro, give you your flowers, bro, because what you do on the side of YouTube, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm a content creator. Yes, I pride myself on knowing football. I played it, right? Know what I'm supposed to be looking at it a certain degree, but you guys sit there and like break down the film. Play by play by play, and that's tedious, bro. Like, people don't understand how much time that takes, dog. Like, it takes a lot of time.
Hey, my man Dylan's in the chat. He says all the time, he's like, ECG is not for everyone, but they're like the IPA of
I'm
beers.
telling you, bro. Everybody that does this film work, and y'all especially, bro, like, that shit takes time. So really appreciate and thank you for everything that y'all doing for the YouTube community, but especially for the draft shit. I mean, shit, we getting all our good shit drafted like we supposed to, bro.
Yeah, I did want to say one thing. If you go to our community post on our page, I'm gonna start doing this like every couple of weeks, and we actually had our first session like 2 weeks ago, I believe. Is a lot of people ask me like, "Hey, how can I watch film better? How can I scout players better?" Things like that. So I've been doing it with a couple guys just on the side. I think we had like a group of 9 people last time that joined, and we watched how to watch running backs, and we even started with just some of the formations and things like that, because I think running backs are pretty much the easiest ones to watch without having to know a lot about the concepts and things like that
by far.
And so we went through that, but I've been doing that on the side for those guys. So if anybody's ever interested in what's the knowledge if we're just keeping it for ourselves, especially if it's guys like you that want to improve your content and being able to see the game a little bit more different from a different point of view, or kind of feel like you're in the same war room as like John Spytek and a lot of those guys. Because what happens like in the scouting program is they send your name out to like all the teams. They're like, hey, here's all the guys that completed the program, and then they open up like all their applications for people to join. So I actually know like 3 people that were in the same program as me. One works for the Jets, one works for the Vikings, one works for the Tennessee Titans. And so what they tell me is like, there's usually like 3 or 5 of us. They go out and that's all we do is just scout. Then they get asked like all these crazy questions like, tell me about Ashton Genty. I want to know what his mom's home life was like. And I'm like, what the fuck? But they have to research all this stuff and they have to come back with a straight answer. And that's how they build their draft board. Like, for those of you that don't think like the personal lives of some of these guys don't matter, it absolutely does. So certain coaches and programs want certain people to be on their team. So, that it's just interesting that I learned that too behind the scenes.
No, yeah, and you can kind of see it, especially, we all went from high school to college. I mean, shit, that's what the college dudes do. That's what they used to do back in the day, right? They're going to your house and figuring out where your mama stayed, where your dad at, where everything at. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they want to figure the shit out. So, it is definitely not a surprise, bro. But hopefully this ain't the first time that we have you on the show, man. Hopefully I can get you on again in some time, man, and we can discuss again some other time. Because like you said, bro, I'm trying to bring the realest content, some of the best content that I can to the shit, man. Change your point of view. Like, we don't just have to look at it from the clickbait shit and all that extra shit. Like, let's understand the game and really break it down. You feel me? So hopefully we can get you back on again, man, and do some things.
Yeah, challenge your favorite content creators out there. When they say they know somebody, tell them to explain what games they watch. I can go to my notes and tell you exactly. So, the content is only as good as what you make it. And guys like Rundown and a lot of other people that want to get down in the weeds, you really know who the real ones are at the end of the day. So definitely appreciate everybody that's sub to our channel and things like that. And like I said, it may not be your cup of tea. You might not want to sit on a 2-hour film study, but even if you sit on 15 minutes of it, you're still you still have more knowledge than somebody that didn't watch the shit at all. So
exactly, you feel what I'm saying? Shit, we are taste, but it is what it is, bro. It's for the real football sickos. But that's cool,
football
bro. That's what we are.
Division.
Yeah, sir. My boy Space B, man. But y'all already know what it is, man. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on both channels. Y'all see my man channel right there, but I have his profile added and linked already in the description and all that. So if you want to go follow him, go ahead and do that. And until then, man, we got other shows I'm gonna plan out throughout the week. Make sure y'all get with my mans, and y'all know what I say here, man. We keep it authentic from the clouds to the ground on the Raider Rundown. Till then, we're gonna see y'all next time, man. Peace out.
Peace out.